Yeah.
Just say when, Jay.
I'm gonna go back on camera as soon as I get home.
When?
I'm like 5 minutes
Pushed.
home.
Maybe.
Let's see if I get the notification.
Maybe. Says we're live.
I'm
But
not
you know
getting
how
any
you know how
notifications.
Susan
There it is.
WikiWiki's shit works.
And we're live.
Just say when, Jay.
I'm gonna go back
And
on
we're
camera
live.
as soon as I get home.
When?
I'm like
Just
5
say
minutes home.
pushed.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Anecdotal Arguments slash nah or whatever the
Maybe.
Let's see if I
hell
get the
I feel like
notification.
calling it this week.
Says we're live.
I am your host,
But you know
Jay
how you know how
and with me,
Susan
There it is.
WikiWiki's shit works.
you could say we have a plethora of guests.
Hey, Jay.
Let's start
Your
off
mic's,
with
your mic's cutting out.
talking shit
I was
already.
gonna say I can't even hear him.
Let's start
Yes.
off
He's cutting out
with
for me.
Neo and Realist. How's it going, Neo?
Pretty good.
What?
Just in the hot zone. Can't go anywhere.
What was that Will Smith movie where he fought
Is it
vampires in New York?
Still cutting out?
I Am Legend. Are the streets literally that empty?
Yeah, it was based off the short story of I Am Legend. Yeah.
It depends if like the regular
Just the
streets.
hot zone.
Yeah, but like if
What are your
you're-
numbers up, Jay? Do you know off the top of your head? I Am Legend. That is such a terrible movie.
It is.
Hey, Jay, I think you're.
Let's
the
kind
lead
of
guy.
get derailed already.
Anyway, let's continue with the introductions.
Do you want us to go around and introduce ourselves?
And Laurel, how
Yes,
are you doing?
please.
Well, I'm
Jay will get
Laurel.
Yes, please.
Hi, Laurel.
Hi. For those of you who are struggling to pronounce my name, Laurel rhymes with Carl, not coral.
Carl.
How could you?
Is anybody else going to introduce themselves or just me?
I don't know.
All right.
I hate that shirt.
Well-
Ooh.
Oh, Rebecca's here.
Hey,
Yep.
I'm blonde in the belly of the beast. Okay.
Hey, blonde.
Yeah, we know who you are. Still pissed at you.
Sorry. Sorry.
I
I
kid.
don't believe that.
But you owe me.
Blonde, I'm glad you're here. They've just been talking about guns for half an hour.
Ugh.
now, now it's time
What
to
did
talk-
I miss?
Time to talk
It's
sports.
probably not going to change either.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know. We're preparing for the apocalypse, baby. Woo!
So prepared that we've got a Bubba.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the guns are important for the apocalypse, but so's your garden, so's your chickens, so's your water. Just FYI.
No, I just steal those from other
Oh, we'll
people
get into that.
by using my guns. That's what you fail to understand. See, when I see people doing that, I'm like, oh, look, they're stockpiling for me.
Don't laugh, but I live in New York City, and yesterday I was watching videos on what breed of chicken lays eggs, how to start an urban farm.
Is it legal to do that in New York City, or have they banned that?
I've actually had a rooster before, so whether it's legal or not, don't think
Really?
it matters. There's plenty of people around me that do.
Do you have space to do it, or are you in like a high-rise apartment or something?
No, there's a backyard here, so it's like
Nice.
there's people behind me, their yards, they definitely have chickens because I hear them crowing all day.
Both of my neighbors have them, but then I'm not in New York City. I'm in rural New Hampshire. There's chickens running around all over the place, and turkeys. There's just turkeys running around.
Here too, they're so ugly.
They're delicious, though.
Probably not these wild turkeys that are running around. I bet they're gross.
Yeah, I haven't
No,
caught
actually,
any of
wild
them. So.
turkeys are actually better.
Yes, they're quite
Yeah,
delicious.
I would say.
Nutritious.
I'll
Yeah,
eat
am I
them
back?
if I have to.
We used to hunt them in Texas, man. They were good.
Really?
hmm
I guess I just assumed because they're so ugly that they would also be gross.
Every once in a while, you'll run across one that's
That's
kind of
where you're
skinny,
wrong.
but most of the time they have pretty good meat. It's kind of like hogs, man. You just got to know which ones to shoot.
Whose channel are we on? Are we on J Fry's channel?
No, we're on mine.
Yeah.
Jay Fry is technically illiterate and couldn't handle this this stream.
Sure.
I think Matt's next.
Oh, we're still doing introductions?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Welcome.
the
And you thought your show was a duct tape production.
I'm one of the douchebags tricked into wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I was
So, I'm
told it
waiting
was
here for
mandatory.
me. Take a minute.
We're working on
No,
it,
it's
man.
not a
We're
trick
working on
these
it.
days. It's all right. Like
Which one
I
does that
said,
joke gonna be?
I would never. I'm sorry.
All right. I'm going to hop off here. I'll be back.
Am I back?
All right.
We can dig it, Sean.
Am I back or not?
You're back.
Yes.
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 I don't have anything to say. I just wanted to say yes.
You're running this gig, man. All I do is push buttons.
All right. Did we
He
get
is
through
our-
introductions?
Pretty
No.
much. He is our not gay Jared. So
Who
Did
is?
we hit mandatory carry?
Sean.
Hi,
Yes.
I'm Jay, mandatory carry Skidmore.
And
Tricked
that's
into
enough of that.
being here too, Matt, for what it's worth.
No, I wasn't tricked into being here. I was told that Hawaiian shirts were mandatory. That's all.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a little
No, it was
piece on there.
Hawaiian
Right.
shirts. Mandatory carry would also be on. That's what was said.
Ah.
No, it wasn't. No one said that. Blonde's with us. How's it going, Princess?
Okay, everything's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Sure.
That's all I've got. I don't know. I have nothing to contribute.
Harsh, but fair.
No, I mean, like, we've been going pretty easy on the coronavirus stuff, but we're just getting eviscerated in the comments. People just are so scared. They just want to be so scared about this.
Yeah.
It's making me second guess myself.
No, I'm not.
We
going
actually
to.
have pretty good numbers in comparison.
Well, if you watched
Like,
Neil's
the
live
number-
stream today, man, was that depressing.
Why? I didn't watch it.
What was it? Caracas? Where was it you had all those videos from?
Guayaquil, Ecuador.
Oh,
Is that the one where people are they're just putting the bodies outside because they've been in the house for several days and they don't know what to do with them?
Burning the
Ecuador's
bodies
the one
in
with the
street,
cardboard boxes, right?
The police shooting at people. Yeah, it's crazy.
May I remind you, gentlemen, that this crisis began with the burning of the bodies.
Can somebody tell me what this Tim Pool Beanie Gate thing is?
Neo?
Okay.
I mean,
You want-
TLDR.
you
I
want-
was seeing
You
people
want the
talk
long
about it.
and short of it? Chris Poole apparently founded Subverse, which is Tim's thing. Well, that he's always pimping on his channel.
There are two of them. There's another Tim Pool. Does he wear a beanie too?
Yes, actually, he does. And if you put them side by side, they look very similar. You would say they were brothers if you saw them.
Ugh.
I don't know. They
Because
look about
they're
as similar as
brothers.
Andy and Chris Warski.
And I guess Tim and his brother had a thing where Chris would move to New Jersey, live with Tim, and they would work on this Subverse together. So Chris claims that Tim, he brought Tim into Subverse. And now, I don't know when she came into the picture, but there was a third person, this Emily Molly, that
Girlfriend.
I don't know. I don't know these. I've never met Tim. I don't know Emily, so I don't know if they're actually connected. But that's what people are speculating, that maybe there's an intimate relationship. But so Chris apparently resents Emily's involvement, and that she got an ownership stake in Subverse. And then Chris claims they went and registered a new corporation in Connecticut behind his back. And then I guess it was in August they went public and offered about some portion of the company, and they raised $1.2 million in that offering. And this is for the company Subverse that Chris Poole is not a part of. So long story short, they're arguing over money. I don't know if I'm assuming Chris was kicked out of the house or left, and now he's threatening to sue Tim. He did a GoFundMe where he's at
Oh.
$5,000.
Did his
So-
GoFundMe get?
Right.
Did he get the money? Did he meet the goal?
last I saw, it was up to $3,000, but $2,500 came from some YouTuber. I forgot his name.
Huh.
No.
These basically people that hate him are donating money.
I kind of figured it would work that way. Yeah, it's just like people who want Tim to go down will contribute regardless of whether they agree or not.
How
It's a
does
shame that the brothers are going at each other like that.
Do you know how Chris broke his hand?
That's a good question. I didn't think to.
Where did he break his hand?
He just claimed he broke his hand, and that's why he wasn't working. But
Yeah, that's the only thing I need to know on this whole thing is how the hand was broken in the first place.
Hey, Dave
If it
Cohen's
was
back.
something like he was working and something happened, it's far different than if he was screwing around, got drunk, and punched a wall. Like
Jerking off.
that's how I determine.
Well,
What if
I
it's
broke
just
my hand in a
Steve
fist
to
fight
get-
once.
I don't
So
know if he skateboards like Tim does, but they do have like a skateboard ramp in their yard. Maybe he did that.
Of course they do. God.
Fucking course.
They're
they do.
douchebags.
What if they're in
But
teams that are just
I guess the popular take is that Emily is the manipulator and she's come between the brothers and somehow gotten involved. It's not my take. I'm just saying that's the popular take.
I feel like we've skipped some levels since I've left.
Neither.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's basically YouTube drama. So I mean, it's one of the few non-coronavirus stories I've been able to do all month.
I missed the internet blood sports era.
Do you though? You miss Andy Worski? Really?
Sort of, yeah.
Jeez.
What
I've always
happened to
liked
Andy?
Crazy hair.
Didn't he just
Oh,
pop up
God,
again
yeah.
with a new partner?
Did he? What is he up to? I like to check on him every once in a while. I like Andy Worski. I don't know. He's funny.
He's I saw something he was streaming like a week or two ago with some older guy. Same stuff he was kind of always doing, just a different partner.
Yeah, I guess we all have our day in the sun.
Then I saw something where he got this gig where what's that pay for porn site where he somehow got a gig where he reviews chicks' nudes for free. Rating. That sounds like Andy Worski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they over 18 or are they Anesian? Because there's two different sites.
Is it Chatterbait that he's involved with or something like that? One of those things. Or is it the new one? I don't even know what these things are called.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. You lost me at porn. That's a disturbing topic. I don't.
Well, let's definitely not talk about Bigfoot porn.
Oh God.
That one's been thoroughly discussed already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Matt about
that was
this.
our whole
I-
last hour.
I saw one of Matt's videos, and no joke, there was an ad for Bigfoot, a Bigfoot documentary on it.
Yeah, which is pretty weird because I mean Bigfoot only like a rare mention maybe on the stream once in a while. Even though I am
OnlyFans? Why are
pretty-
people bringing up OnlyFans
what
in the chat?
Because
because we're
Porn
talking about
related.
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
Well, you did have that. There was like a senator or a congressman who had Bigfoot erotica. That was a
No, that was
decent
Virginia.
chunk of an hour stream once. Virginia, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in our artwork.
I guess, yeah, but
Marion
like how
Henderson, yeah.
I don't know. How would they I think there's a lot of weird stuff with how much they know about us. Like I was watching this just a Facebook stream earlier and I mean we know they transcribe your speech on your YouTube streams, but this thing was transcribing in real time with shocking accuracy. And it was a person who was standing kind of far away from the camera, like speaking kind of in a soft volume. I couldn't believe how well the Facebook system was transcribing everything she was saying with near perfect accuracy, which is crazy. I know YouTube does the same thing. So I'm sure they know everything there is to know about, my interests or Blonde's interests or whatever else.
Oh, what?
With Facebook,
What was the
they
name of
just
that guy?
grab in from any microphone. Like if they had Facebook on their phone, it could be picking them up on the phone and then just applying it to the video.
Matt,
Yeah,
what was
yeah,
that, what's that guy?
Sorry.
What's that guy that you had all that beef with years back? Or, you gave him your address, and he had that accent and just
Talking
the
about
worst
Retard
filming
Police?
quality.
Yeah, the retard that.
Yeah, I miss Retard Police. He was great.
Oh, is that the one that threatened you with a butter knife?
No, that was a different kid. Retard Police was like this weird guy in Ohio who did like kettlebell lifting, and
was it Ohio?
Yeah, it was somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah,
and then another one of my friends got into trolling him and like convinced him to meet, like he was going to travel to meet him at this park, and I think he was from like Columbus, Ohio, or somewhere in that area. And then Retard Police went there and filmed the whole thing, disappointed that nobody showed up to fight him, and it became this whole drawn out saga. And then I don't know what happened. His channel he like erased it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him.
Well, I watch all of my YouTube stuff with closed captioning, and his was in like Klingon or something. But I recently saw it was awful. But I recently saw one of this heavily accented Asian guy building a transformer, and everything was perfect. And I thought back to that one with a guy speaking English-ish. I mean, it was close enough to English. Yeah. Your guy threatening you with kettlebells, and could you withstand this elbow? No, you couldn't.
That's right.
To this thick accent.
Did he film himself doing push-ups or something like that?
He was doing kettlebells in his basement, so my bit was like, well, I don't have kettlebells, but I can do some push-ups in my crawl space.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. You're talking post-Matt video games YouTube? This is
kind of in the weird like middle ground.
Mid-Matt?
Yeah.
This
is like 2016, maybe 2015.
Yeah, I'd say like 2015. Yeah.
I don't remember this guy.
Oh, this is way back. I don't even remember how he found me, or I don't remember the origin of how he came to be involved with me. I don't know.
Didn't he stab a bottle with a weird butcher knife?
I can't remember. Somehow we got in a comment.
He was threatening you.
Comment war?
Bro, this is how it kill you, bro.
Yeah, well, no, that was a different kid, I think. That was the foam cup kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I think we ended up in a comment war somehow, and then he just started making videos to make his points instead of just comment war.
So this was before you were arguing with the guy that Blonde always mistakes for some other guy.
Yeah, that was one faggot that I always mistake for that other faggot.
River something.
River Gibbs?
River Gibbs.
River Gibbs? No, that's the one
one.
Blonde mistakes for a man.
No, who's the other one? The training one.
Spinosaurus. Yeah.
Oh, Spino. Is Spino still? Yeah, what's he doing?
I saw him on Twitter recently with something that Ian Miles Chong was tweeting about, so he's out there.
Huh.
I think he switched to. I think he dropped the Spino thing and is actually going by his real name now.
As a matter of fact,
was
he attacking Andy Worski for that? Somebody in your chat said where Andy Worski was fighting with Ethan Van Sciver. I don't know if that was it.
I mean, that's back in the day. That's all Spino used to do, was like try to police people and try to.
I remember when they had him on for a debate. That was funny.
It's the worst. Yeah, it's like the worst episode in the history of the show, I would say.
I don't know. The one debate you had with the one guy about, God, that black guy. What was his name?
Nico House.
Oh, that was just me.
Nico House.
Yeah, I know. It was still funny though.
Yeah.
Oh, poor faggot.
Nico was after. Yeah, Nico House was after the New Year's resolution to not do that anymore.
No, my New Year's resolution was not to get in Twitter fights.
So you brought him onto YouTube. Makes perfect sense. I understand.
Well, but I actually think that went okay. But like, yeah, that was the time I realized you can't, even if you think it's going to be good faith, you can't have an unmoderated adversarial conversation, because it just
because you don't know shit about Black Wall Street, man.
Yeah, but then you went on those other guys.
Was slavery real or not? Okay, it was real. Then he quits. Yeah, I remember.
I mean, have you ever seen an internet debate that you weren't sad you watched?
Chank and Ben Shapiro. That one
Chank and Ben Shapiro. That one was great. Ted Cruz and
watch
Bernie
that
Sanders,
one
that
from
was pretty
YouTube.
Great.
Times two,
That
thank
one
you.
was good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone
I had
watch
to watch
JF
the.
and Stefan?
Who?
JF and Garrett Pierre and Stefan debated, but like I can't bring myself to watch it.
Was it
Oh,
recent?
I don't watch Canadian accent versus French accent at all.
What would they
That was
debate
my
about?
idea.
Don't they fundamentally agree about the hot button issues they're always accused of holding the views of?
I don't know.
Pretty sure they both agree on the IQ question and all.
I'm so checked out of internet culture. I don't care about any of this anymore.
Since they took you off Twitter.
The older ones, Eric Weinstein actually praised Stefan Molyneux on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day.
Oh, I didn't
Really? Yes, he did.
Really? What did he say? I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing.
Basically that, he said, well, I basically don't agree with this guy very much. I don't really know him, but the arguments he was making, you got to admit, were right.
Arguments about what?
Hillary's health, I think.
Yeah, I think that was what it was about.
Okay.
Wasn't his angle something like also having the boldness to ask questions that should be asked, even if you don't like the answers? I thought, or that could have been someone else.
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I watched like 30 seconds of it. So.
Oh, you guys want to make a round to topic of the night?
Sure.
The hell's the topic of the night?
Yeah.
Coronavirus, prepping.
Oh, God.
Not so much prepping for coronavirus because it's kind of upon us, but prepping for what comes after, the economic fallout.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more on Team Matt here of that the infringement upon liberty is already beyond the pale.
Yeah.
There's too much of it already.
Yeah.
There is.
I've come
Is
around
now requesting that a possibility, the idea of moving the election. No, absolutely not.
The general election?
Actually,
Trump's my guy.
The Supreme Court just made a ruling just today, didn't they, about the Wisconsin?
It's been postponed. Was that from the Supreme Court?
No, the Supreme Court. The governor tried to postpone it, and the Supreme Court rejected it. They ruled against the governor, so it's going to happen tomorrow, including in-person voting in Wisconsin tomorrow.
They wanted to have a situation where you could vote after the election, which I thought was insane because we lost by 5,000 votes. Let's just go get 5,000 votes.
I hear the asshole Caesar.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to
still
tell
have
you,
that dog? What the?
Yeah, he hasn't been given away yet.
You just turn the sound off.
If you want me to find a sweet farm for him, I can find one.
Yeah, is it a farm where he's going to be euthanized? Because I'm open to that.
Yeah, that was the
save yourself some money. 22-cent bullet. There you go.
Well, I can't believe how many people are ripping on me for
22 cents. Try 3 cents.
No, Blonde, I'm with you 100%. I actually would have euthanized a dog after it bit your niece.
Yeah.
I'm not going to euthanize him. I'm actually looking for a good home for him. People should be happy about that.
Were you joking when you accused Caesar of crapping in your shoe?
No, he's done that on more than one occasion. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't own a dog. You realize that, right? You own a cat.
Well, I have 2 other dogs that are real dogs.
Exactly. Anything that's under 30 pounds is technically not a dog. It's a cat.
That's true.
It's a cat that barks.
Oh, and he peed in my eye last week.
How did that happen?
What the hell?
The only way I can stop him from attacking my husband is if I lift him full in the air. And I was doing that, and then he just like squirted pee that just went directly into my eye.
He was
How
marking
does
his
your
territory.
husband not drop kick that dog across the fence?
He's a good
Your
man.
dog is mentally ill.
Because I bet he's a good-natured guy and he doesn't want to hurt animals.
Oh no, he hates Caesar's guts. He's like, get this dog out of my house, or I'm going to swing him with 2 fingers.
Yeah, send him our way. I'll put him down for you. No problem.
Yeah, he's a little bastard.
Getting back to the infringement. Getting back to the infringement on rights being beyond the pale at this point, and I totally agree. At first, when they started with the quarantines, I thought, well, let's give it a shot. Let's defer to the experts on epidemiology, et cetera. They know more about this than we do. But yeah, I totally agree. At this point, it's just gotten insane. At what point do we say enough is enough, and how do we go about saying that?
There's so many people that will chastise you for even thinking that it's wrong. That I think we've got a really big hill to get up before we can get to get to the point where we have enough momentum going and saying, no, we really need to get back to work and get back to normalcy.
Here's an interesting question. Has the federal government as an entity actually infringed on anyone's rights?
No.
All the things we're complaining about,
state.
none of them are coming from the federal government.
Yeah,
Right. It's all
They're
state.
just putting recommendations out there, and the states are actually doing it.
Follow it in step. Yeah.
Yeah, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, man.
Yeah,
With the
even,
one exception of the, did you see the chick in South Dakota? The governor? The one governor with the balls to come out and say, not that big of a deal. We're going to be, we're going to take precautions, but we're going to carry on because I want my people to be free and they have rights inherent to them.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her.
I kind of
want
hoped
to move east.
that my governor would have done that, but apparently being in Phoenix,
Same for mine.
My governor just put out an order today. No one is allowed to stay in a hotel except for this list of people. So you can't even go and stay in a hotel.
Every week they have to do this one up. It's like we got to add this. We got to show how much we care with one more thing. And
with us, New Orleans fucked us over. So
well, that's why they're called progressives.
Yeah, well, great progress. Appreciate it.
And I'm just gonna say flat out that if Joe Exotic had won the election in my state, I don't think I would have been having an election.
100%
you should have voted for him. I blame you, Josh.
Dude, I didn't know he was a candidate.
That's also your own fault.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's kind of a perverse incentive though, because it's coming from the states. Each governor seems like they're trying to one up the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't know. I guess maybe it's not weird. I don't know. It's just every governor has its state's constituency. It's just demand. I guess maybe I'm biased because I look at like the Facebook reactions as an indicator of public opinion, which they're probably not. That's skewed more towards the certain type of people with all the time in the world to be on Facebook. But every time our governor posts something, they're congratulating him on preventing an emergency and begging him to do more.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say
that's
that.
not how it works, Tim.
It's but, no, I'm going to say that. Look, I'm glad that these governors are showing their true colors. Now I know who not to vote for.
Well, I think there's also an element of when it first started, there was a good faith belief that this needed to be done. But once they committed and they're like, okay, we have to go this way. Now they need the pandemic to be serious. So once they made that decision, they were committed. And they need it to be really bad. So
you're saying they can't admit to be wrong,
right? They can't admit that they would be wrong, and now there's an incentive to fudge the numbers. I think before it started, there wasn't, but once they made that commitment, now there's the incentive to fudge their numbers.
We've got a dichotomy though, because like Neo and Garrick are in places where it's really bad, and then Matt and I don't know about the rest of you. We're in places where it's not. Right. So I mean, there's
it's not bad here at all.
Well, here's my situation. If I actually think it's serious, I think it's bad, but I think it's insane that someone can't make the argument. Well, because I think that's what democracy is about. You make a case. I don't think people should be shamed for saying what's actually true, that the economy is being wrecked, people's lives are being, in some cases, permanently altered, from economically by what's being done. You have to acknowledge the cost of what you're doing if you're going to be pro that side. I mean, that's just intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
Right. And I make this argument a lot with people when they're talking about a certain way for the government to spend money, is they start arguing that the benefit has a value. And I always counter with, that's not how you make the analysis. You don't say, is there a value to this benefit that you're conferring? You say, is it greater than something else you could have spent the money on? It's what is the opportunity cost? So it's not, are these quarantines worthwhile? Is it more important than the economy? Is it worth completely destroying the economy? And that's really the question that they're not facing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just
it's just like the Social Security question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, well, what were you going to say?
It's just like the Social Security question. They're afraid to face it. They always kick that can down the road as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just annoyed that governors, I don't blame Andrew Cuomo necessarily for what he's doing in New York. At least generally speaking, the situation there is much more serious than it is in Montana. I get that. I hate that a governor like mine is being pressured by people who think that this is New York, or succumbing to pressure from people who say, unless you do what New York is doing, you don't care. Well, the reality here is obviously not the same as what's going on in New York. And I just wish there were some more governors, or maybe just my governor. Maybe I'm just being selfish. I just wish someone would have the courage to say, listen, it's not an emergency here. And if you think it is, by all means, you stay at home, you self-quarantine. But for now, it's not that bad here.
Have any of them addressed what's coming next? Like, have any of them made any allusion to what's going to be after?
Well, yeah, our governor's coming out and saying we're going to extend the stay-at-home order another 2 weeks, even though there's no indication that the one we have right now is working. And everybody's praising this. And yeah, to your point, I've seen no indication in my state of when we can expect this to end, despite we have 6 deaths and like a couple hundred confirmed cases, and we're just going to extend this into infinity and beyond. So we ruin our local economies. Yeah.
And then there's also the issue of we're not establishing a herd immunity. So as soon as these quarantines come down, isn't this just going to start up again?
Yeah. Well, no one's talking about that, because you have to understand the people that are pushing for this, the scientists and the medical experts, they know what's coming. If it plays out that way, a second wave that would hit in the fall, that would make this one look nice. So you have to talk about how you're going to restart the economy. And if you're not having that conversation, we're going to not be prepared for that anyway.
You know, I think that's when people are going to stand up and say no to quarantines. It's probably going to keep going on the way it is with people getting upset, but then they're finally going to lift it and everybody will say, oh, thank God that's over. And then in the fall, when there's another wave and they say we have to do the quarantines again, that's when everybody says, oh, hell no, we're not doing this again.
Agree. Yeah. Well, okay. So what about this? What if, what is the outlook as far as treatments and stuff like that? Because I would hope that by the end of April, we'd have something to show as far as, well, if you get sick, we have a treatment in place that we can, at least keep this under some sort of control.
I heard
down the fish tank cleaner, man. That's all.
They can't make the medication that fast. Even if they determine next week that those medications are the ones to go with, they just can't make them that fast.
Well, we don't have the infrastructure set up for it.
I heard on the way home that there was a doctor who was on an interview and was talking about the chloroquine and whatever they pair it with. That treatment for severely ill people that are in the ICU had an 8-hour turnaround time before those patients were symptom-free.
Wow.
Symptom-free?
Symptom-free after 8 hours.
You got to think, if they're seeking that treatment, they were in pretty rough shape.
They were definitely ICU patients.
That's incredible. If that's
that's amazing.
Was it the Rudy Giuliani interview?
No, it wasn't. It was some other form, and I'll have to look it up. I don't know if it's KTLA or something like that, but it was. It wasn't to do with Giuliani, or not Giuliani, but Cuomo. Other than that, it was counteracting and saying they used Cuomo's quote saying that the treatment was showing some sort of efficacy. So they had the doctor make that quote, and then the argument is they were arguing against the people on the left who were saying that it doesn't work at all, and Trump just misspoke. It's all bad news, just as anecdotal evidence.
They've turned this into a political cudgel. Yeah. And they're actually using anti-science arguments to say that Trump is anti-science on the hydroxychloroquine. Because let's say say that for argument's sake, the treatment is not as wildly successful as we hope it is, but it provides some benefit. Will there be a consequence for all these governors who knee-jerk banned the use of it in their state just because Trump praised it?
Well, Michigan, Pennsylvania, both banned it, and you would get sanctioned if you attempted to use it.
Oh my God.
That's what I was under the impression of. The whole point of this was for two things: was to plateau the peak,
to flatten the curve.
Flatten the curve. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Well, but the other one was to try and find a suitable treatment, not a vaccine, but something to help curb this. And then during the summertime, it'd probably die out. And then come fall, it would kick back up, but we'd have something to fight it.
But
ideally...
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just wonder at what point is the curve sufficiently flattened too? Because we've seen
it's based off of how much medical resources you have to support it.
Right.
As long as you don't overdo it.
How many days of generally like plateaued hospital admissions and deaths, either in New York City locally or across the country, would be sufficient before we'd say, okay, curve is flattened. Maybe we can loosen up restrictions a little bit. I get conflicting information out of New York City.
It's based on how many resources are being used versus how many are being produced.
I think they're looking for a benchmark for when do we start taking away these measures. And that's what I think the benchmark is after you've peaked, when you start having fewer new cases every day.
Actually, it's like the 2 variable thing, because it's not just the cases. It's also let's simplify it and say your ventilators, which theoretically is going to go up as time goes by. So even if the cases are flat or still increasing a little, you can outpace them if you just keep adding ventilators to your stockpile. So that it's a bit of a moving target, which works in our favor, I should say. So
right,
not economically, but yeah, if you with flattening the curve, it's delaying and extending the length of any given thing. A high peak shortens the edges. When you flatten it out, you extend it a much greater amount of time, which is
but the question is, what's the benchmark for knowing that you're succeeding?
That's a good question.
Having fewer cases.
No one seems to be discussing
fewer cases than what? You have nothing to compare it to. Fewer cases per day than you had the previous day?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I bet you they're going weekly. I would bet they're going weekly. Because days are too...
The further go, the more likely that becomes,
Just I have to hop off soon, guys, but I appreciate the inclusion.
Give the love to the missus.
I
Happy
just
to.
wanted an opportunity to wear that shirt.
Maybe a little bit. And next time, if we can get more Hawaiian shirts.
Blonde just wish you had a good fashion sense like that.
Probably. Yeah, I better go too. I gotta cook.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Have a good
Bye,
night.
fellas and lady.
Good night.
Bye.
By the way, I just want to say, Neo, when I was watching your stream today, and it was you were talking about Ecuador, dude, that actually got me a little teary-eyed. Not gonna lie, seeing all that.
Well, I don't remember that part. I just remember me begging for a wrench.
We're just so focused on ourselves, we forget, about sometimes the quote unquote shithole countries, as the orange man would say.
Yeah.
What about France?
I was going to say, as much as we complain about ourselves not being prepared, I mean, that's just a disaster.
Yeah, that was.
Well, that's
the heartstrings.
Yeah, it's a good illustration of the breakdown of social services without a strong, backing for people to hold the government to account. The government is running scared on these things because they are the ones tasked with dealing with the cleanup of, let's face it, nasty shit with dead bodies and infections, and they're just flat not doing it there. That's a huge problem.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, go ahead, Laurel. Ecuador is not one of the worst countries. Ecuador, until very recently, was a destination country for retirees from the U.S. It was held out as one of the jewels for people who want to retire in a third world country with less income. There's Thailand and there's Ecuador. Those are the big countries that retirees were going to.
I thought it was Belize.
Maybe Belize as well.
And now Ecuador is having an explosion in cases. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good retirement destination now.
What was the name
of
the
how mysterious.
Carmen San
What was the name of the town?
It's the largest. It's the largest city, and it's Guayaquil.
Yeah, Guayaquil. Yeah.
It's their largest city. It's even bigger than their capital.
How are other third world countries handling this, like Saudi Arabia and Venezuela? And
Saudi Arabia is not really a third world country.
Well,
I mean, they still kill their gays, so there's hope for them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find does anybody know the Sunday death numbers for Ecuador?
They don't. They have no way to count, man. According to them, they have 170 dead. I can show you videos of 170 dead bodies in them.
Because with comparison purposes, Sunday we had just under 600 deaths in America. Italy had 525. France had 700. That's those are just one-day totals, but both Italy and America, us, were that was less deaths than the day before. France is on the rise, so they're.
See, I don't like comparing America to all these European countries because we are so much bigger. It's more adequate to say state by state for us and compare that to the European numbers, because if you take America as a whole, it looks terrible. But especially if you take it state by state,
you per capita, the outcomes, because a lot of people don't understand like how big America is, even though we're talking like China and India. China's number 1 world population. India's 2. India doesn't have the infrastructure to do numbers. Yeah.
What's that?
I said the fuckers on the coast don't even understand how big America is, or exactly how far people have to drive.
Well, actually, if you speak to a European, a lot of them don't understand the scale of distances in America.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like on the West Coast and East Coast, I ran into that. Yeah. Not so much like in the southern states like South Carolina and North Carolina, but when I was like up in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area, I ran into that, but I've never been to New York. So
yeah, when you try to explain to somebody in the Northeast that you got to drive for 20 hours to get across Texas, they don't know how to handle that.
Dude, I was going to say that. I was like, depending on the direction you drive, you could drive for a day in Texas and still be in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You can drive from Michigan to Florida in the same amount of time you can drive from Texas to fucking Texas. But so just for understanding purposes, China, 1.4 billion people. India, 1.3 billion people. Those are the top 2 in the world for country population. Then
we're number 3, aren't we?
Yes, we're number 3 with 300 and whatever the census says at the end of the year.
Doesn't Indonesia have like 1 billion people or some crazy?
Indonesia's number 4.
Yeah, but India doesn't have the numbers for handling COVID. They won't have them. It'll be deaths in world just clusterfuckery. China's lying to us. So it really does come down to the USA being the leader in this. So when you measure that the 330, I guess we're calling it right now, even though it's close to 350 million people, it shows us as significantly higher numbers than other countries. But Italy's got 60 million people. Their numbers don't compare to ours. If you go by per capita, we are below France, we are below Italy, we're below Germany. But you just can't do the comparison, and the media will switch between per capita and a full-out count, whatever makes America look worse, because Orange Man bad. Yep. We're doing an incredible job, and we're the only country that can. We've got Ford Motor Company making ventilators. We've got no shit. This week we in Knoxville, in Knoxville are getting. What's the name of the Covenant Healthcare System will be getting their M95 masks made by the fucking Brooks Brothers. Like,
and this is pissing me off. I'm like, are you going to tell me that the United States is going to be done in because we can't manufacture masks of all the states?
No, it's not. We've got anything that is in America that can manufacture are going to be putting out masks. If anything, it's going to be a resilience of American manufacturing.
No, that's my point. I said we should never even gotten to the point where we have to ask all these ad hoc companies, why are we making everything in China? You would think someone would say,
gun on stream, Sean.
One day there might be a pandemic because it's only a matter of time before these things come around. Why would you outsource something so basic?
Yeah, it's the healthcare of your citizenry. Come on, man.
Well, and then you got 3M, who is an American company making stuff in Wisconsin, I think where they're based, and then they want to give it to Germany and not to us.
Was that 3M or was that their distributors? I wasn't even clear on that.
I don't know for certain on that one, but that was the gist of it. Is that they had to be ordered to not supply Germany and supply America first.
It's one of the few times where Trump actually did officially invoke that that act that they keep screaming that they want him to do.
Is that still when? Is that the shipment that Kraft sent his plane over for?
No, that's they bought that. That was the state of Massachusetts bought that from multiple companies in China. They just had no way to get it here.
Jesus, Josh, mute if you're gonna rip that shit out.
Deal with it.
I spy with my little eye a fucking sub 2000.
Oh, hey.
What's going on?
That's me.
What?
Jesse in your chat was
what kind
right.
is that?
I think 3M is in Minnesota.
Yeah, I thought I knew they were up north. I couldn't remember if it was Minnesota or Wisconsin.
What's your sub 2000?
40 cal.
40 cal.
Oh, so you and Sean can be 40 cal buddies.
Standard.
No, what magazine
standard.
does it accept?
23 rounder, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what the Glock 40, the 40 Smith & Wesson mag is. Yeah.
Mine's for
16.
Glock 19.
Wait a minute. I thought Susan Wiki banned all images of firearms.
Ah,
No, only live streaming of you shooting.
I've got a Gen 1 sub 2000 that is for
reminds
Glock
me I gotta
19.
go shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get some practice in. Yeah. Since I can find 300 blackout, I can shoot it to my heart's content.
How do you guys feel about gun ranges being open? I mean, they are an enclosed space.
Are they open?
There's definitely not.
Don't care.
Some.
Yeah, they're open here.
They're essential.
No, all gun ranges are open. Most gun ranges are enclosed spaces. Most are open air. So who cares?
Yeah.
You gotta worry more about setting the fire when your shot goes over that back, like a dumbass who can't friggin' aim to save his life without his glasses on. Who might that be?
Watch your mouth, sir. It's a family fucking show. Well, I'm asking about the indoor ranges that are literally 3 people in a 6-foot distance standing next to each other. That does have a pressure though, because they do have auxiliary fans going. I'm not sure I care for that, but we haven't shut anything down, and I'm grateful to my state for doing that. But Massachusetts has, probably New York has, if they even have them.
Massachusetts is also run by idiots.
This is true.
Which state is it?
I mean, clinical idiots.
There is a gun range down the street from me, actually, in New York, but it's like cops only would be allowed in there. It's like a private.
That's because you live in the
business,
draconian state.
Yeah, but only cops would be able to go to that gun range.
Are you
I think it was
now?
Massachusetts.
I was going to say, I think it's the reason that they're letting ours stay open is because most of them sell ammo, which is an essential item apparently.
Mm-hmm. Well, Massachusetts said, well, president says it's essential businesses, so governor says, if he says so, then it is. And then their attorney general's like, nope, fuck that.
California did that too.
Considering that it's the only consumer product protected by the direct mention in the Constitution, it'd be pretty tough not to be essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, people try to make a case, trust me.
Well, what they'll do is they'll shut down the distribution because the
everybody will try to make a
distribution
case.
won't be considered essential. That's what they're going to do.
Well, they have the supply line for the ammunition and everything, so technically they are essential.
Yeah,
Because they are the in-between between... Yeah.
I mean, I agree that they are, but legally, are they?
Oh, this is interesting. James in the chat is saying that he drove by a golf course today that was open.
Yep.
I did see where. How is a golf course essential?
Well, it's, I don't know that it's
politicians use them.
essential, but yeah. I mean,
Where is James from?
That's a good question. Let us know in the chat, James.
New York?
What state?
I think he's up
Just the state, if nothing else.
There'll be like a 30-second delay, so let's just keep talking.
But there is social distancing on a golf course.
True.
They should open all recreation activities where there's social distancing. People should be able to go to the beach.
Well, if
when
that's
they
the case,
did that in China, it led to crowds.
Did you guys see
look at what happened in spring break?
Yeah. That's
the spring breakers. Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean, if it was the case that we wouldn't arrest people who were doing recreational things at social distancing, that paddleboard guy shouldn't have got arrested.
Yeah.
No,
That paddleboard guy shouldn't have got arrested anyway.
He says he's from upstate New York. Mandatory.
hold it.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier today. What the order should have been was not shut down work, not shut down businesses. Just don't congregate. Don't shut down. You can shut down bars, maybe clubs for sure, concerts.
Yeah, see, our guns.
Sporting
Sporting
events, things like that. Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
The gun stores, like here in Oklahoma, at least the ones that I go to and frequent, they are only letting 10 people in at a time. That's it. Mm. They lock the door after 10th person comes in. So you're either sitting there or you're inside.
Is that a general ordinance applied to any business though, or is that specific to gun stores?
No ordinance. They're just practicing it. That's all they're doing. They're trying to limit it. That's
I know some of the dollar stores, when you go to the larger cities, are starting to limit people in the store.
But my local grocery store has a sign on it that says they reserve the right to limit the number of people. I haven't seen them do it.
Yeah.
But they said that if it gets crowded, they'll start doing that.
I know Walmart started counting their customers. Yeah. Neo, did you see the video of the creepy drone in New York? I think it was New York that was like talking to people about the
bridge.
Yeah. From what I understand, that was a private person, because it said it even said it was like a private, like a citizen's patrol or something.
Are they even allowed to like fly that drone? Because
I actually tweeted about it. I was like, I'm under the impression that flying drones in New York City is illegal, except at like 2 or 3 designated parks, and even in those parks in a very limited area. So I said, technically, are they breaking the law? But then I asked, it was technically over the water, so does the East River count as New York City? That was my only caveat.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, it looked like if you're out over the river, can they really restrict that airspace?
But actually, they probably could, because this for a different reason. When I was going to ground school, I was considering getting a private pilot's license. This is the most restricted airspace probably apart from Washington, especially after 9/11.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And
I was about to ask if it happened after 9/11.
I gave up even thinking about a private pilot's license just because it's just too much of a hassle to fly in this airspace.
What if you head out to Montauk, though?
So I got a question for some of the smarter people out there, because I can't really process this kind of question. Would it have been better? Is it better that people stay home, or would it have been better if we encouraged this recreational social distancing? So rather than tell people, look, just stay shut up in your home, go out and go camping or go fishing, or do something.
I can say this definitively, that sending people home from my work and stopping people coming into my work sick probably is a definite benefit. Probably, definitely.
Well, I gotta say,
I think that the best thing to do, in retrospect, the best thing to do would have been to tell people who are have comorbidities or are elderly, quarantine them, and have everybody else go out and get their herd immunity.
But does that become the question, though, of infringing on their rights?
They can voluntarily do it. Say, if you don't want to get sick, they can go out and get sick.
I think we know for certain that the social distancing worked in terms of what it was supposed to accomplish. Mm-hmm. The question is, at what cost?
Right.
I'm not so sure it worked. Even if we flatten the curve now, are we just going to get reinfected after this is over?
Well, yeah, inevitably. But I think
and if we do, then it didn't work.
I don't.
Well, no, but the California
what they said it was going to do. Because that's another question. Is it better to have the longer drawn out curve or the all at once spike?
Well, I think
all at once we would have died.
I think Laurel already addressed this in one of her videos, but I'm kind of on the side of, look, we need to kind of draw this out so that we can actually properly manage it rather than burn it out and see what happens.
But I don't think we fixed it. I think that it just comes back after we lift the quarantine. We still don't have that herd immunity. We're still, 6, 9, 12 months away from a vaccine. So we've just postponed it. We haven't solved the problem. We've just postponed the severity. We haven't actually brought it down.
Oh yeah, we're on borrowed time. I'm not going to argue that.
So this is just going to come out again in the fall.
Yeah.
The only thing I believe that we're not considering though is that we've now seen it just might be politically impossible though for a politician not to call for social distancing.
Oh yeah, I think this is what I mean about they're committed at this point. And so they're committed as a group. The politicians are committed as a group to the quarantines.
Because it seems like you'd be deviating from what's being done everywhere in the world, just about. And
I agree.
You'd be this nail sticking out for them to hammer down.
Yes, it's safer. It's at this point when quarantines are first introduced, that is the risky option for a politician, just to say, let's do a quarantine. Because it's so damaging economically and people don't like it. But once you hit that critical mass of politicians saying we're going to do it, then for the remaining politicians, the safer option is to do the quarantine, but safer politically. So we've passed that point.
And there's another example. The Joker. We just had the Joker perform, and they had to have cops at the opening to Joker, not because of any known threat to anybody, but because the media had talked up a threat. So they had to be seen as doing something, as opposed to not having anything, not doing anything, and something possibly happening. So there has to be the visual presence of it. The question,
it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah.
But because now the question of second wave is whether or not it will take place in the fall, or because like last week, 2 Tuesdays ago, we had road incidents in the entire state of Tennessee. 6 road incidents were reported on Tuesday. That is stalled out cars, car accidents, whatever. Whole state 6. Over 70 the Tuesday that just passed, which means people are not following the quarantine guidelines as they were the week previous. So we have to determine whether or not the second wave will hit in 2 weeks from last week, or if we will make it to the fall. Herd immunity would take place best, but we'd have so many more deaths if we had the high and quick bell curve.
Okay, so there's the deaths.
Respirators.
There's the deaths from coronavirus, but there's going to be deaths from this economic depression, I think. If you're looking at global deaths, there could be, we don't know yet, there could be millions of people starving to death because of the disruption in the supply chain. So if you're looking at total deaths, this may be worse.
People who are committing suicide, there's people who are on the brink of financial disaster who have taken this time to end things. There are going to be numbers that are outliers from the coronavirus that will be added to the deaths because they are in some way related to it.
I was going to say the difficulty in that case is going to be that deaths of despair are a lot harder to account for when you're arguing with someone, because it's hard to draw a direct line, even though it's real. We call it deaths of despair, people dying of drug overdoses, methamphetamine, drinking themselves to death, suicide, all that. It's hard to draw a direct line, so it's harder to quantify.
But I also think that the economic problems that this is causing are going to be extremely severe. So there's not only going to be people dying very directly from those economic problems when they can't afford to buy food, when the disruptions in the supply chain mean that they can't get food. And I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about other places, Malaysia, India, et cetera, Africa. But then there's also going to be civil unrest. Again, not just in the U.S., I think there'll be some here, but also in other parts of the world. These are all because of the mitigation efforts.
I'm glad you said that, because no one is bringing up the possibility of civil unrest, because you're going to reach your reality. We talk about being prepared, prepping. Most people just didn't listen to that. They weren't prepared, and the reality is they're going to get hungry. There was a food pantry, or was it in Florida, where the line was hours long. It was just
and
traffic
no
jam.
social distancing.
We've only done that for a month. Could you imagine if we did this another month? How many people would be just hungry?
Right. Or once again, they try to do quarantines again for the second wave. People are going to be like, no, I'm not doing it. And then you're going to get a lot more people just flat out refusing to comply. And then it'll be a lot more civil unrest.
And how would you order a second lockdown if people don't have the money to survive another lockdown?
There's only so much the government can borrow. Eventually, it's going to come to an end. And the reason I say that is because pumping money into the economy only works when there's deflation, when there's a drop in demand. Once there's a drop in supply, then you'll start to have inflation, and pumping money into the economy won't work. It'll just increase inflation. So
we dropped
this is self-limiting.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, to prop up the stock market, we threw in 1.5 trillion, which is the total student debt of the country, and it just vanished.
Yeah, it's gone. I applied for a lot of it.
And
I spent all day today applying for all types of relief. I looked at every program out there. I'm like, what can I get? Because they're giving away free money. Why wouldn't I apply for it? They're doing like
did you make a video on
deferments. I did actually on my live stream. I talked about all the different things you can apply for.
Was it this Sunday or was it Wednesday?
This last Sunday.
Okay, I didn't catch it. I'll have to watch it later.
Yeah, I talked about all the different programs.
Yeah, if you get a link in your, are you on YouTube right now? The chat.
Yeah.
There are politicians proposing that illegal aliens qualify for these things, which I thought
she doesn't have a wrench though.
Political suicide.
I don't have a wrench, but hang on.
Liberty.
I'll get to it. I was going to say I'm worried about my fiscal future because I work for a major cruise line. This is hitting us damn hard.
Yeah,
Sean, if you could give
just keep them flying for free.
Laurel.
Okay,
so and if you could show Neo how to give wrenches, that'd be great. Just saying.
So we do have a good question in the chat from Mail Order Bride. She asked how to maneuver the situation between two individuals. Say you have a significant other and you're on opposite sides of the argument. So one wants to shelter in place and one wants to go out into the world.
You don't have a choice.
Who gives in and who compromises in that situation?
One gets a hotel and the other stays at home.
Fair enough.
What? You got a better solution?
I mean, well, it's either that or one has to compromise, or they both have to compromise, meet in the middle somehow. I mean,
there's no meet in the middle to stay or leave.
I had an acquaintance who had that issue, and he solved it by just going behind her back and doing his preps. She didn't want him to purchase a firearm. He just went and didn't tell her. And when this all went down and they have months of food, they don't have to leave. He could work from home. He says that she thanked him for, doing all that. So that's how he resolved it. He just prepared anyway.
I put my channel address in the chat, so I think it worked.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Oh, Laura, have you loaded your Boogaloo sticks?
No.
One person keeps asking. C2K.
I know. I just answered that I hadn't done it yet. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I have the ammo. I've got 3,000 rounds. I just haven't loaded them.
Oh, I've loaded mine up. They've been loaded for a while now.
And I need to go. Practice.
Has 1,000.
What's that?
Smith has 1,000 loaded rounds of magazines.
Good for him.
Yeah, no shit.
Wait a minute, what kind of magazines? And what caliber?
I mean, I've got about 300 rounds of 300 blackout loaded, but that's just me.
Got about 200 rounds of 5.56 loaded and probably about 150 of 300 blackout loaded.
I honestly don't know how many.
100 rounds of
5.7,
5.7, several hundred rounds of 9mm loaded, depending between the Scorpion and the pistols.
Oh, that's true. You got all the SMGs or the what are they?
Pistol caliber.
Pistol caliber carbines, yeah.
Just one happens to have a binary trigger, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
400 rounds of 40 cal, all in Glock 22 mags.
Mm.
The 2 of them are extended.
You don't need 10 bullets to kill a deer.
You need
more on the deer.
Hey guys, it's after 10 o'clock. I think I'm going to sign off.
All right, Laurel. Thanks for coming.
You have a good one.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me. Bye-bye.
It was a pleasure having you.
Bye-bye.
Clint Smith had he loaded like a decade ago 1,000 magazines. Well, no, it was more than that. It was like 1,100 magazines or something like that. And about every 6 months, he shoots off a mag just to prove that you can have them. So he's got a wall that is just stacked with magazines.
Oh, he's doing that experiment to see if how long it takes for them to lose spring tension.
They won't.
Well, he argues it's a spring. You either have it loose or you have it tightened down. Just don't have it in between.
Right. Well, the thing that wears out a spring is moving back and forth. If you have it tensioned or have it loose, that's just how it's going to stay.
Yeah. So every semi whatever. I haven't worked with Clint Smith, but I have a instructor who has gone to Thunder Ranch, and he says that it's worked every time I've been there. And I'm like, how many times have you been there?
Yeah. Burn one mag.
Visiting every 6 months. Yeah. Oh, is it a month? Yeah, whatever he does. So he has for over a decade they've been loaded. I'm like, those bullets are going to expire, and you're going to feel stupid.
I don't know. The way they make bullets nowadays, they last a long time.
Well, didn't Obama try to make it to where the ammunition actually did have an expiration date? He was trying to push it.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. He had cigarettes go out.
You mean to tell me the entire history of firearms, no one's tried to test fire old ammo?
Oh, they have.
Oh no, they do. They have like old reserves in Russia of corrosive ammo that still fires.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Fuck.
As long as it's sealed and prepared properly, it'll fire. Yeah, I mean, you can get 7.62 by 54R. That's like World War I, World War II, if not a little bit after. That still sealed in spam cans that you could just open up and it'll shoot right through your Mosin if you have one.
Yeah.
Russia's got ammo so old it precedes gunpowder.
Yes,
that's true.
Russia's strong.
They have ammo so old that smokeless wasn't a thing. It was all black powder.
In Soviet Russia, ammo shoot you
or blow up.
Yeah,
I don't get bury AK-47 in dirt.
It'll jam. It'll jam.
These bullets so old they only fire AK-1.
I will say that I watched a video. I think it was with Tim from Military Arms Channel. He's talking about the Arisaka. Hey, but hold on. He was talking about how they tried to experiment with the Japanese Arisaka and tried to overload bullets, and they just could not make that sucker stop shooting.
It's a bolt action, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but eventually you have to get to a point where the action gives out from overcharge, but they loaded that thing down and it just kept shooting.
Was that the school's video? Raggle, was that the school's gun video that he mentioned that?
So. I don't think so. I think it was the one when he was testing ammo that was faulty as shit. I forget where he bought it from. It was having hang fires and just wasn't working.
Is the Arisaka like a thing where the Japanese military made probably tens of millions of them But at the time, nobody wanted them, so they trashed them. Or
they bubbied them. Yeah, they bubbied them.
Today they're extremely rare, right?
Some of them are, especially if the chrysanthemum and all the cartouches are intact. Then yes, they're actually worth quite a bit of money. It's kind of like getting a K98 Mauser that still has all the World War II cartouches in it. I've got an M1 carbine that's a 1943 Inland, and that thing, they couldn't give them away in the 90s. They were selling for like $150. Now, I have a $1,200 firearm, probably an $1,800 firearm by this point, sitting in my safe.
I have
it's all
$90
numbers matching buttons.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Garand that when you...
Not the Garand, the M1. No, not the Garand. Carbine. It's a 30 caliber carbine. It shoots kind of like a small pistol caliber cartridge. It's a little drop box magazine fed. It was meant for rear echelon troops.
And paratroopers, right?
And paratroopers. They did make a paratrooper model, but the stock really sucked because it folded over, and when you open it, it didn't lock. It just kind of still swung.
Yeah.
So, but it's a fun little gun to shoot. It actually, the rounds do actually move rather quick for a small light projectile. It's basically like a pistol caliber carbine, but it's moving at like 1,800 feet per second on the projectile. So, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of mass. It's only 110 grains, but it is moving pretty quick. So,
I mean, it's double a 223. So, and I mean,
no, it's not double a 223. Well, grain weight wise, yes.
Grain weight, yeah. But I was going to say it's low for
has
30
velocity.
Cal, but yeah.
223 has velocity. That's the big thing it's got going for it.
Well, yeah, and then 30 cal averages are what, 150 grain roughly?
Depends on the. It just depends on the cartridge.
But that's the commonality. I mean, like you can get 30-30, or 308, a bunch of others, and 150 cal. I mean, hell, they have 300 Win Mag and 150 grain.
Yeah, I mean, about 150 to 175 is usually your average, at least on 7.62 by 51 or 308.
Right.
That's usually your average grain weights. Jay Fry would know more about 308 stuff than I do because he's got a SAS.
I had a G2 as well.
No, I mean, no. No, I mean, I like obscure small little calibers. I mean, I've got that PS90 and I love it. I don't care if it's quote unquote not that lethal. It's still fun to shoot.
Did you ever get in touch with Ryan to get those dies to reload it?
I texted him. He never really. He got in touch with me one time, and I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, dude's busy. I'm gonna have to hit him up at his house and like get the shit for you and ship it to you.
Yeah, just let me know how much he wants for it, and I can Venmo the money to him or whatever.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Anyway,
because I want to make some heavy metal fly really, really fast.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go subsonic, man.
I am gonna do some subsonics for the 4570, but there's just something satisfying about a 400 grain projectile moving at 2,000 feet a second. It just screams, "Get the fuck out of the way!"
Yeah, it's a thumper.
Yeah, I imagine this was what I was talking about to somebody. I was like, okay, 4570, it necessarily won't penetrate like a level 4 ceramic because it doesn't have the velocity, but with close to 4,000 foot-pounds of energy that thing's going to put into a plate carrier, do you think that would stop somebody's heart?
It'll definitely break all the ribs they got.
Yeah, I think so, because you're going to have a deformation on the backside, just straight from the plate carrier taking the hit. The energy is going to transfer through the plate into the chest. So my question:
you put a steel core in that thing, you'll stop a fucking engine, no problem.
Oh, I have no doubt. Even with dude, even a hard cast lead round would crack a block. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'll take down a 1,400-pound Kodiak. That's all I'm saying.
All right, enough of that talk.
In case I ever get jumped by a bear in New York.
Hey, you got black bears up there, man.
They're ferocious.
You're more likely to come across a gay bear than a black bear in New York.
This is true, especially in New York.
I've seen the police academy. I know what goes on there.
Blue oyster.
Shit.
Did you guys catch?
I believe they're all on Netflix right now.
Well, and have any of you watched Lavalantula?
What's up with that Tiger King shit, man?
Oh my god,
I haven't seen
that
it.
bitch.
I've been
Carol
sending
Baskins.
Sean some great. I've been sending Sean some great memes. My favorite one is still the Elmo one, where it's got the guy with his hand shoved up an Elmo puppet's ass. It says "straight man addicted to meth," and the arm is Joe Exotic. And then there's another Elmo doll in the background. Americans realizing that tiger cubs only cost $2,000.
See, I went into that thinking it was fiction, and then I'm looking at this. I'm like, holy shit, this is for real.
Yeah, you just have to realize.
Yeah,
because I didn't realize in the first episode it's not a modern documentary. It's a few years old because
it's a few years old. It's around 2016, 2017.
Yeah, but it's put together today.
Yeah, I was gonna say they wrap it up in pretty much middle of 2019.
Yeah, but it starts off years earlier, and it comes to fruition. Like
I just thought there's going to be another episode 8. They said. Now.
Yeah, they're talking about it, and oh shit, Sean, I got to send you another. I got another meme.
Okay.
I know that it's been making the rounds. Did y'all see Gun Meme Review? Because that shit was pretty funny.
No.
Oh, I'll have to send
Some
it.
of us have other hobbies.
And this is my hobby. It's like fucking around with you guys and playing with guns.
Speaking for us, you need more hobbies.
Raise tigers.
I used to play video games. I just got out of it. It's too much of a time suck.
If you have the chance, play video games with porn stars.
I'm good.
It's infinitely more fun.
I'll pass.
So basically, Twitch.
No.
I tell you what, if you guys can highly recommend the latest Call of Duty, I will probably play it. But I only play campaign. I don't play multiplayer.
You got it.
I had when I was it was this a couple years ago when Black Ops 2 came out. I ended up playing with a couple of like 10 or 11-year-olds. And one of the kids was the number, like in the top 100 of door buyers in the entire game. 16 million people. He was one of the top 100 door buyers. I love that kid to death. And the other kid, who was also like that same age group, was a huge, all he did was revive people. And I had the perfect group to suck at playing zombies with. We never accomplished a lot, but those kids loved to do what they did.
You just had to put up with them calling people faggots every other word.
No, because they were both supervised by their parents. One kid was on his dad's account, and he was like, "Murder killer, fuck you, I'll kill you all." And I'm like, "You sound kind of young for this." He's like, "This is my dad's account." I'm like, oh, thank you so much. And the other kid was Jaybird, and they, at one point I ended up talking to both of their parents. I'm like, I suck, and your kid is like the top 70 of door buyers. Like, you have no idea how much I appreciate this child. Like, he just goes and he buys shit. The guy's like, so you're using my kid for free stuff? I'm like, absolutely.
You are exploiting my child.
That's what he, for like a minute, he was like, you kind of explain. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a pervert. It's like, you know what? I'll deal with that. Well, your kid just, we won't even be in the section yet, and he's buying it. And this other kid, because then the guy watches play, goes, "Hey, how do I add this kid?" I'm like, he's already added. Like, he's on your friends list. Like, he will revive you no matter what, and they don't care that you die a lot because that's what he likes to do. Like, if your kid can buy all the doors and this kid will keep reviving you, eventually I'm going to actually succeed and do this one freaking zombie move. And like, it's going to be great.
Joe Biden saying like, these kids love touching my hairy legs.
Corn pop. Corn pop. Has anybody seen?
Wait, did I see all that video
podcast?
about hairy legs?
What?
Did I send y'all that video of the
animated one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was disturbing.
His white hairy legs, remember?
I remember the tiny black children. They look at my hairy legs.
I learned about roaches.
Yeah, that was like, what now? Has anybody seen this podcast?
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
No, I didn't watch it.
I'm good. I'll pass.
I imagine it's a dumpster fire.
Took them 4 days to put a podcast together. I'm like, holy shit.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I still haven't put my podcast together.
Yeah, but you're you. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not anywhere closer myself, but we don't have
You had it, and then you lost
a group of people.
Oh, hey, Sean, the girl in the middle of the meme I sent you, that's their babysitter.
Yeah, I kind of gathered because that was the picture they showed at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. See, I would like to have his life, but then I'd have to be him, and I don't want to be.
Yeah, he dresses like a tool. He wears affliction shirts. He's the kind of douchebag that would talk about owning a Harley, but never really owned a Harley.
Yeah, I mean, he lives a charmed life. There's no doubt about that. But man, no, I don't want to be that guy.
What kids is this guy in the chat asking the J Fry about?
Were these kids Japanese or Korean? Jaybird was some sort of accented American.
Okay.
I like how you put that, accented American.
I used to make YouTube videos about video games, and there was this kid in our clan. I shouldn't even call him a kid. He was an adult. He was Korean, and he just hated Chinese people. And he was just the best first-person shooter player I've ever seen. And whenever we would run up against a Chinese clan, he would just lose his mind and start cursing in Korean about how he was going to kill all Chinese people. It was unreal. He just got into a rage and rack up these ridiculous kill-to-death ratios. And you'd have this whole clan of Chinese people trying to kill him.
Like, what the hell's happening? Why does what? All I can hear is Big Trouble in Little China on my freaking headset right now. What's going on here?
I kill all you Chinese! Fuck you, China! Fuck you, China! I kill all you!
China is asshole!
I was supposed to ask
just China. China is asshole!
I was supposed to ask Matt why that isn't a sounder yet. My God. That is good shit.
Yeah, we need to ask him that. I'll text him real quick.
Yeah,
I did like Crowder the other day talking about the Japanese tow truck driver that was just a car salesman. Oh, no, car salesman. You need a new car.
That's kind of what I was saying to you on the Crown Vic. Or the Merc.
I do need a fucking new car, man.
He uses the Nobita sounder, right? I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he still uses it.
But I heard somebody said that Nobita isn't based anymore.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he cucked out. What was it again?
He got in trouble.
Yeah.
Talking, I think it was about black people or something like that. Not Japanese women not finding black men attractive or something like that. I don't know. I think that had to do with one of those videos, I'm sure.
Oh, so me love you long time is not a real thing?
Basically, all his videos are like dating videos. Do Japanese girls like these kind of big guy, or do American girls like a Japanese guy?
No.
Is that like the whole thing?
Certain girls.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Pale. I've never seen a Japanese man dating a white girl that had any color to her whatsoever.
I don't know. Every video I've ever seen of it was dating related.
Hey, Sean, your secret chat. I'm so far behind on the stream that I'm watching you secret chat right now.
Well, I did just pick this up and text my buddy, but
no, on the Hangout.
Oh, like you are well behind.
You're live, and you just sent a text, or a tweet, or a little message to Laurel.
Yeah.
Like, so much for secret. This is behind the scenes bullshit.
Well, I just didn't want to step on whoever was talking at the time.
Wait, what secret chat now? I'm not.
Good luck. There was fucking 9 of us. Everyone was stepping on each other.
Yeah, this is a crowded show, man. What the hell?
We're gonna tell Matt in the future. I'm like, we're paying for you to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really are.
Talk over everybody else. Don't let me interrupt you.
Yeah. Tell Fry to go fuck himself, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, please do, Daddy.
It's
Jesus.
Jay's show, and he can't even get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, I know. It's so great. That's why we come back every day.
Oh yeah,
or every Monday. Well, I took a hiatus for a few months. Fry was kind of bad about that.
Yeah, we all were.
I wasn't mad that you took a hiatus. I'm mad that Garrett hasn't.
Wait a minute. Did you have influencer burnout? Is that?
I'm just a hemorrhoid that never goes away.
No,
I didn't have influencer burnout. I was just busy with the girlfriend. And
you got a hobby.
Yeah. I have several hobbies actually. Very hands-on.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did you go, you sick bastard?
Well, we're all wondering now, is there video?
Yeah.
Check my Pornhub.
No.
You mean your OnlyFans?
I agree with the Boomer Maynard. Roof Koreans, best Koreans.
Yes, Roof Koreans are best Koreans.
I've been saying that for 25 years.
Oh shit!
I've been saying that since brick and white people was a new thing.
Much respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if this quarantine keeps going on, the mob's going to rise in New York again. That's going to be fun to watch.
The mob is getting killed by this quarantine.
Yeah, they got to stop kissing rings and
they're old Sicilians, dude. Look at Italy's numbers.
No. Think about it. Their number one moneymaker is basically gone. Sports.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the bread and butter of the mob. They are hurting.
That's true.
Drugs.
Damn.
Are they gonna go legit?
I want to see
prostitution. You can't. Right now, everybody's on lockdown. You can't carry on with affairs. You can't go to a hotel.
Hey, that's not true. I saw videos of how sex workers are supposed to conduct themselves during quarantine.
Oh God!
Please
tell me a whole roll of Saran wrap was involved.
No, there's one
only
girl
around this
on
certain
my,
appendage.
There's one girl on my PS4 who's a porn star, and her place is always packed with people.
Oh,
it's like
Fry.
you're gonna catch the thing. You're just gonna catch it.
She hopes to catch the thing. Are you kidding?
The only thing that woman has had is leprosy. Okay?
Yeah, it's like you don't understand my antivirals on a daily basis.
Ew.
Oh God.
Well, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Where are they?
You
okay? If that's true, your face has no excuse.
Yeah.
See, I see the name C2K, and right away I think Crusader Kings 2 for some reason.
See, I just think of Louis C.K. for some reason. Breaking 911 on Twitter. Chinese government reports no new coronavirus deaths for the first time. This was at
bullshit.
Yeah, we all know that.
China.
Where was this?
Breaking 911.
No, where? What location?
China.
Oh yeah, bullshit.
China good. Trust China.
China not asshole.
Hey, Neo, do you remember when this thing was really starting to peak in like January in China? Do you remember seeing a video with all the birds flying around Wuhan, like all the ravens and shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely saw that.
Good. That's nice video of carrions looking for their food.
Just
exactly.
Inside.
The Ecuadorian buzzard video I showed today.
I must have missed that.
Buzzard
because
circling over Guayaquil.
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus, man.
How?
So smell it, man.
What was the you were talking about a video of somebody looking at disappearing SIM numbers or not renewed phone numbers for the month?
Yeah, there was an article put out that I think it was like 21 million SIM cards just disappeared from I think it was 2 or 3 of the major telecom carriers in China. Now, some of that can be explained the fact that a lot of people over there carry 2 cell phones. Still doesn't really explain for the fact that you divide that by 2, you still got about 10 million.
Yeah, or there's going to be a number of people who just couldn't afford their cell phone for the month.
So here's where we as Americans have to learn a little bit more about Chinese culture. This is a bigger deal than it is here in the United States, because in China, just about everything you do, you need a phone to do it.
Yeah,
you got to pay your rent. You have to use a phone in most places.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of pissed.
That whole social credit thing, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Is that through Alibaba or is that through? No, Alibaba's their Amazon, isn't it?
WeChat is like their Twitter.
WeChat, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And Alibaba,
I think it's their Amazon.
Facebook / everything else.
Wish is still Wish because it's still shit.
But yeah, basically, if most important life functions go through.
My God! Speaking of Wish, just to turn back to guns for a minute, I was looking for a threaded barrel for one of my new pistols, and it kept bringing up Sullivan traps. Now I can't get the fucking ads to go away. For Wish.
You're lucky, bro. I've got fucking nut purses right now on Wish. I don't know where that came from. If anybody wants to see what a nut purse is, ask me. I screenshotted
it. Oh shit!
Is this one of those things where after you look at it, you wish you hadn't?
Oh yeah.
Probably. It's kind of right up there with looking at Carol fucking Baskins. So
it's such a close up though. You kind of like, what is that I'm looking at? Oh my God, I know what that is.
It's kind of like you never take Blonde's advice on what to look up about vaginas. I will never do that shit again.
Blonde. Speaking of,
doesn't she have a fetish for disgusting medical ailments?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, we haven't had one on the call-in show in a while.
Yeah, that's because it became the what did you call it, Fry? What'd you call the call-in show?
Friend Simulator. Yeah.
Friend Simulator, yes. The Friend Simulator.
I thought that's what the Hangouts were.
Yeah, pretty much. But we paid for it. So we get personal time. So technically it's more friendly.
Yeah,
I'm so ignorant of this stuff, man. I'm still trying to figure out the pen thing.
The pen thing? What are you talking about?
The Pen 15 Club?
No, fountain pens. It just turned into a fucking meme.
Where was I going? I had something. Bond is her internet savvy, which I will always. She's not here, so I can compliment her. Bitch. She when the Kurt Eichenwald thing came out with the tentacle porn and him having to show it to his wife or whatever the fuck was going on. We started harassing her. I had Facepalm Reality and a couple other of my artistic friends send her tentacle porn with her in it. Steven Suarez was another one who did some.
Yeah,
and for some reason it got a little bride heavy. Like she was usually in her wedding dress at the time, which is just like, come on, guys, calm down a little. Like I want her upset, just not that upset, guys. It doesn't have to be her wedding night when she's raped by tentacles, okay? But so after like 2 days of bombardment, and she's fully aware of what the Streisand effect is. So what does she do? She embraces it. And she posts captioned off, cut off, cropped photos of her blonde in the belly of the beast. Her Seattle needle with tentacles. She's like, I was in on this before it was cool. And I'm like, oh, you bitch! You just ruined all of this for us.
Just like Kate McKinnon's going to ruin Tiger King for all of us because she's going to do a show based on Carol Baskins, where she plays Carol Baskins.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. No, I mean, there's What's the author's name that writes all the porn?
Chuck Tingle.
Chuck Tingle. You ever want to waste like an hour just laughing and looking at titles? Just look up Chuck Tingle there, Neo.
Oh my God.
Is that his real name? Chuck.
It's a pseudonym.
I don't know if it is or not, because the guy's kind of out there.
Yeah, he is kind of out there. But yeah, if you ever want to laugh for just looking at the titles of his porn books, his erotic fiction, yeah.
Bigfoot Pirates Haunt My Balls.
Yeah,
is my favorite. Or Bigfoot Ass Sommelier. That's also one of my favorites.
What was the one? Raped by Big Giant Airplane or something?
No. It was a handsome billionaire jet plane. Raped by a handsome billionaire jet plane.
That was it. That was it.
Jesus.
Oh, some bizarre stuff he's writing.
It's an acquired taste.
And he does it.
It's very acquired.
Yeah. Well, we're made to carry. Come back.
Never looked at a plane and imagined a sexual situation with it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let alone a handsome billionaire jet plane.
Yeah, handsome billionaire one. I mean, you always hear about this crap because, we watch Discovery Channel and they always had those depictions of the people that had weird fetishes and shit on them. There was the one guy that tried to marry his Volkswagen Bug. I remember that on something on Discovery Channel. Maybe it was TLC. I don't know. It's one of those.
All right, he's got a new book out. Pounded in the butt by my handsome sentient manifestation of my Twitch stream.
Jesus.
The handsome thing is a recurring thing, I think.
Well, that or billionaire. This is from 2-time Hugo Award finalist.
Hey, man, he knows what he likes, all right?
Space Raptor Butt Invasion, Space Raptor Butt Redemption, Space Raptor Butt Ascension.
So they're not handsome space raptors, they're just generic space raptors.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a Bitcoin in my butt, and he is handsome.
Oh, God.
Living inside my own butt for 8 years, starting a business and turning a profit through common sense reinvestment and strategic targeted marketing.
Wait, what?
Now these are
Do I need to say this again?
He's not releasing. Three people buy this.
Yes.
Pounded in the butt by the fact that it took less time for me. God, this is getting small. Pounded in the butt by the fact that it took me less time for this book to be written and published than the entire Scaramucci's term as the White House communications director.
Oh, you see, now he's getting political.
He always did. He's a left-leaning guy.
Yeah,
still funny.
Pounded in the butt by my book. Pounded in the butt by my book. Pounded in the butt by my book.
It's almost like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. That ended with pounded in the butt by my own butt. That's how that ended.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pounded
now it makes
in
all
the butt
sense.
by the fictional hosting website archive of my own Hugo Award nominations.
So he's got like some Inception deals going on here.
Yeah.
So he nominated himself for the Hugo Awards. Is basically what he said.
I mean, got pounded in the butt by it.
Pounded in the butt by my leaked Mashley Addison data.
Good God.
Pounded in the butt by my sentient vegan-based vegetarian cheeseburger.
This is enough butt pounding, Jay. Let's move on. Jesus.
Yeah, let's go to the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
He's getting pounded in the butt by
We should have
dinosaur.
never brought this up because he'll go on like this all night.
Oh, yeah.
I can end this at any time. I can. I'm just not going to. Pounded, not pounded.
Somehow we got here because I asked about the pens. I don't know.
This one's a good one. This one's a good one because it's counterintuitive to his natural storyline. Not pounded in the butt by anything, and that's okay. From 2-time award finalist Chuck Tingle. For some reason, there's a dude in like casual attire next to a Jurassic Park raptor head guy with a green chest. But apparently no butt pounding's going on.
Oh,
Chuck Tingle.
Chuck Tingle.
Yeah,
Chuck
gotta love it.
Oh, I guess, yeah. He's born in the home of truth. I don't think this is his real name. Primary gay niche erotica, self-published works.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of, my buddy sent me this Bigfoot thing he watched yesterday. It was 10 minutes long on Amazon, and it sucked.
I think that's the ad that was playing after Matt's video that they wanted me to pay for to see this Bigfoot documentary.
Well, it was a 10-minute documentary. Apparently, it was something about Bigfoot eating deer in a river or something like that. And it ended up taking me down a rabbit hole where I watched them out of order, and they kept going farther and back, which just pissed me off more because the first video was shit. But you should have not expected nothing from it because the video before that, which led up to that video, also shit. But it takes place that there's a video of a deer with a blown out rib cage, like tore out, and he was eaten in a river stream. And then that night he sets up camp and he investigates in the dark. And the crickets are so fucking loud in North Georgia. It's insane. And you can barely hear the guy. And I'm like, man, this sucks. Then 10 minutes are up. Nothing happened, by the way. You go back to the one before it, which led up to this one, and it's the same awfulness. So, like, everything that you expected from the first one, which should have been better, was just as terrible, and it was only like a 13-minute video. Like, how is this stuff getting on Amazon? Self-publishing, that's how.
Okay, should we change topics?
Yes.
Because we know on and on you could talk about Chuck Tingle and his butts. So.
This was Bigfoot. That's completely different.
We have a couple topics to choose from. We have potpourri. We have Denver International Airport conspiracy theories, or
Lay tits now.
Boris Johnson,
or survival stuff, or whatever.
It's like Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I vote survival.
I'll tickle the tits now, Alex. All right, we can do survival. Is this post-corona / economic collapse?
Intermediate.
Bitbucks.
How about intermediate?
Okay, let's hear it. What do you got for the
intermediate
future?
Let's talk about, we're theoretically at least coming out of this coronavirus scare right about next few weeks, right? It's going to come back in the summer. It's going to come back in the summer.
Fall. In the fall.
Summer. It's going to re-hit in the summer. What happens in the summer?
Kids are out of school.
Here's a hint. It's going to start in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York within a couple weeks of each other.
Gay Pride Parade?
4th of July?
No, but that's a good guess. Homeless start moving as the weather changes. So the currently asymptomatic and purely carriers who are in San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, they're going to start moving to new populations that weren't as badly affected in the last few months and infect those populations, and we're going to have another outbreak. You want to get through this with as little damage and trouble as possible, yes? Right?
Yeah.
Chances are we're going to have a couple of more lockdown, shutdown, shelter in place, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't care. Orders at that time, and to get through this immediate crisis passes, start going picnicking, and then go camping for a couple of weekends. There's nothing quite like picnicking to show you what you really do need and don't need to eat. Like, do you really need metal utensils, or could you survive off of plastic forks and spoons, but not the knives? The knives suck for a couple weeks. And there's nothing quite like camping to tell you what works and doesn't work for you when you have bigger problems related to this shutdown situation that develops.
Mm-hmm. I found out from a cop friend. He when he was in his transition from military to police, he's an avid concealed carrier, and he did the Appalachian Trail. And during the Appalachian Trail, he put his gun. He sent it home with family because it wasn't worth it to him, as isolated as he was, to be carrying bear spray and the gun at the same time.
Bear spray is very effective
against curious bears. Not against aggressive bears.
Oh
yeah.
They work really good on humans too.
Antifa loves it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw a concrete milkshake at a bear.
Yeah.
No, you'll piss them off that way.
But I will carry gladly my 5-pound Marlin 1895 4570 loaded with 430 grain plus P HST rounds.
Not walking 20 miles a day, you won't.
He was mentioning.
Why are we worrying about guns yet?
He was mentioning the homeless population. There's a subtle difference between the LA, San Francisco, and New York. You can be homeless pretty much all year and be comfortable in LA and San Francisco.
Yeah.
A little different in New York. They move in underground into the subways and like the bus station. It's I think that's the primary reason why there's not as many homeless in New York. There's still a lot, but I wonder about LA and San Francisco if it won't be worse there just because they have these bigger populations and they're year round, where like
San Francisco is going to get nuked by this thing. I don't understand why they haven't already had a full-on build fences and machine guns around the city crisis.
You would have think that San Francisco would have got it first, though, with its link to Chinatown and all the Chinese visitors that go there.
Well, there's a
more
theory
Chinese
that
people there than white people.
There's a theory that they actually have an immunity somewhat to earlier coronaviruses that are causing them to be less affected by this coronavirus because of the travel related. Like, they have different strains that are just close enough, which is why there's nothing like the numbers you have in New York when it's the only really comparable size city in comparison. Minus the fact that they drive everywhere instead of taking subway, and they're not as stacked on top of each other.
BART is a huge deal in San Francisco.
It is, but it's not the subway.
You know, I've never lived in San Francisco, but I know someone who does. He says like BART is something where most people don't ride it who like would work for Facebook or Google or something like that. So I'm not sure what the population or what the demographics look like on BART users.
Well, I also know that Uber's a big deal out there, Uber and Lyft. Mm-hmm. And my sister lives out there. She used to do this thing where she would share her car. So if she wasn't using her car, it'd be open for people to rent. And just random people would rent her car and go take it wherever they were going, then bring it back.
See, that was my next question. Because I think I've heard that there's like almost like a private alternative mass transit system where like Facebook and Google will run their own buses.
They do.
Well, I was under the impression that if you were working for one of those big tech giants, that if you weren't an intern, of course, that you had the option to get into like their dorms or whatever it is, their private housing, basically, for their workers.
Yeah, on-site
Yes,
housing.
me.
What's homelessness like out in the desert?
It's year round. I mean, if there's anywhere there's people here in the winter, more so than the summer because summers suck.
That's what,
but I mean, if you have to sleep outside, sleeping outside in Phoenix in the summer ain't half bad.
And that's where you're getting them from.
San Francisco, it also kind of makes perverse incentives to remain homeless, where they give cash or benefits to homeless, which I think is weird because wouldn't they just buy drugs with it?
Well, they get their drugs for free from the government in San Francisco. They hand out needles and methadone and I think actual heroin at this point to junkies because they would rather keep them satiated than causing trouble.
Because, when especially when the left talks about homeless, it's always, the homeless family where they've lost a job. Whereas the reality of homelessness is
that's bullshit.
A lot of them are
non-California.
At least here in New York, I notice the same people who are talking to themselves and like when the people that you see on the subways and all. It's usually the guys, the emotionally disturbed person, or someone who gives the same story 50 times and you see them like for years. But usually, from what I've seen in New York, the homeless population where you would see a family, those are the types that would get into a shelter where preferential treatment for like they're not like apartments, but temporary housing.
Like the Section 8 stuff.
Well, they'll rent out hotel rooms and they'll prioritize family. Whereas the single adult who might be in and out of jail, that's the type of population that you'll see on the street that won't get help. And to be honest, I wouldn't go to the shelter that they throw them in either, because if you've been there, you might as well be in Rikers Island prison, where
been there, done that.
People will steal your shoes, they'll rape you, or it's crazy.
No rapes, but yeah, there was the one time I started to go into a shelter. The cops were there, still breaking up or cleaning up the mess of a fight, and I was like, "Yep, going back over to the warehouse."
Because I had a friend who, when he got out of prison and he got out of the halfway house, he was homeless for a short period of time. He said he couldn't go to sleep without his shoes on, or else he'd wake up and not have them. So it was like, and they have guards in those places, but I just think it's a ridiculous ratio, like 100-1 or something at night.
The guard's job is just to make sure that nobody comes into the building without a reason to be in the building. That's it. That's all they're doing.
So they're basically guarding the entrance perimeter, and then inside is its own world.
Front door, and that's it. And generally speaking, they don't stop anybody coming in that front door until 2200. One of my first jobs was to watch the door at a homeless shelter in Redding, California area. And it was the National Guard Armory as well. And they told me very bluntly, this is what you're supposed to do. I'm like, okay.
So even if there was like an obvious altercation going on in the...
Call the cops.
Oh, okay.
Call the cops, and that's it. That's all they want.
Observe and report.
Observe and report, and if you can get them to take the fight outside, so much better. That's it.
Now I remember. Okay, so what they're doing with the homeless that I saw in California was that they were making them sleep in parking lots, and they were marking out rectangles for social distancing, but it didn't look too effective to me.
You don't say.
I was just trying to figure out what the reasoning was for that, and even the rectangles they drew didn't seem like they were 6 feet apart.
Again, you don't say.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on for social media and whatnot talking about masks now, because Surgeon General changed his mind about masks, which is like obvious from the get-go, but whatever. If you need the masks,
we knew they were lying from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they don't work, but don't use them because we need them.
Like, yeah.
Look, the World Health Organization still says we don't want you to use them.
Use them. Just use them. The way I've been saying since day one. Don't act like you're trying to keep from getting the virus. Act like you already have the virus and you're trying to keep other people from getting the virus. There's a 14-day incubation period before you start to show symptoms. Act as if you already have it, and that's why you're social distancing. And that should take care of everything for you. Like,
and
wipe down
paper masks are good enough for that.
Yeah, because you're not. The virus is very small. What it travels on, your breath particles, are not small. Yeah, a paper mask will prevent your breath particles to the magnitude of 60 to 80% of them. Just a regular shit mask will stop that. The sleeve of your jacket will stop between 60 and 80%.
Well,
so you're not.
I think there's something to that because the countries that do seem to have this in something resembling check are the countries that wear masks.
Yeah.
South Korea, Japan, and Singapore.
Yeah. Now there's the virus. All right, so it's different because we're used to talking about like a fleck of ricin or something like that. It's so tiny, but you're not worried about the spot of the virus. It's what carries the virus on it, which is smoke from your lungs or the water vapor from a vape, whatever, pen or whatever, or just the perspiration from the breath that you expel.
Believe it or not,
wearing a mask will keep the particles from coming out, which in turn is what carries the virus.
You're missing one airborne vector. Flatulence.
Sneezes?
Flatulence. It's
farts.
The paper mask will work for flatulence too.
Well, you mean microfiber underwear will cure that. There you go.
You have to remember it's present in fecal matter. They can test it in fecal matter. And all a fart is, you're ejecting fecal matter. That's what you're smelling.
Methane gas.
It's been detected in a study up to 200 meters. I mean, that's 200 feet away. I was reading this. I couldn't.
I would like to see that study.
I was like, what? I'm like, first of all, who would have the idea to do such a study? Now you got to understand with these studies, all they're saying is that it's scientifically plausible. That doesn't mean it's ever been transmitted that way.
You know, I watched most of your videos.
Were idiots.
I watched most of your videos, Neo, and I don't remember ass clouds being mentioned in any of them. So
yeah,
I think you saving that for my stream.
Actually, I think I mentioned it, but I've made more than 20 of them, so I can't remember. Which one.
He's made the reference once or twice.
I don't remember hearing ass clouds being warned about.
I think even Medicare was on it. He called it a brap cloud.
Oh Jesus!
He said, "Make sure you're upwind when they brap."
Hey guys, I wanted to talk about mental health through the crises.
Crises.
What's the plural?
Crises.
Thank you.
Crises.
My family growing up was kind of loud and rude, and we were a fighting family.
Have you met Neo?
Hi, Neo. Are you you my brother's account? Well, anyway, suffice it to say, my family is what kept CPS in business for about 5 years for our county. And right, so around 92, I think it was, we went to this hospital where we were getting some genetic testing done, and they gave us an oversized puzzle, one of those movie poster puzzles, 100 pieces or so. Took us about 6 weeks to put it together because we were doing about 1 or 2 pieces a day each. And those were the quietest 2 months ever. Even the sheriff's office was like, "You guys okay?" Because they were used to getting called out here about once a month because we were fighting again. And they actually came by at one point and said, "Are you guys okay?" "Yeah, everything's fine." Because we had something to work on. We had a project to work on right now. Because I'm considered essential employee, I'm not locked up as much. But even I can't go to the bar like I usually do. So I'm working on replacing my spear. But having some kind of project to work on to focus some of your energy will do a lot to help you out in that department.
Well, this is kind of what I brought up back on the Wednesday show a couple weeks ago. Things that you could do to, pass the time in this crisis is read a book, work on your house, talk with family. Just do things that maybe you've been putting off because work has been a pain in the ass and kept you away from it. Just look around and take care of things around the house. It's a very simple thing you can do.
I almost think like this, the way we've been living is almost, I think people make a joke about, the meme about the Amish laughing at us. I think there's something to that where, 100 years ago, this probably is pretty much how people lived anyway, minus the internet and TV. It's spent most of your time, if you're in the 1800s, with your nuclear family. It's like even kids, there wasn't something like teen culture didn't exist prior to the
the old nuclear family 100 years ago. Yeah.
It's like, so we've basically been thrown back 150 years, except if they had television and the internet.
No, because we're literally blessed to be quarantined today, even as opposed to like a quarantine of the 1980s would have been infinitely harder to accomplish than today. In the 80s, everyone went outside and played. Everyone had the energy, and the park was the place to be, or somewhere in your neighborhood. But today, kids, a lot less of the outdoorsy, more of the internet on their game systems or on their computers. They were meant for this, as opposed to just in the 80s. And there's so many more distractions and alternatives. The number one thing being bought besides toilet paper were Nintendo Switches, whatever, the new game console, the tiny one. That was the purchase of choice for this frickin' apocalypse. Not
worst
guns,
apocalypse ever.
Yeah. Like, give me zombies.
Something to be said for that. I could probably one of the last generations that could remember life before everybody had a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there was, that's a big time sink.
Yeah.
That we didn't have. There was an internet.
Facebook.
Even as far back as the 80s, there was an internet, but almost nobody was on it.
Internet at the time.
I mean, you're talking. This is even the pre-AOL days. This would have been like CompuServe. When you had to put the phone on the modem. So yeah,
That's the name I haven't heard in years.
Yeah. Directory/wide, please.
2400 baud modem where you click on a photo, wait about half an hour, and it's like 10% loaded.
Yeah. That was on a good day. That and then you got yelled at for
picking up the phone all damn day.
Yeah.
Nobody could call here. It's always busy.
What is that noise on the line?
We actually had an internet phone line. So,
ooh, look at you.
Yeah. Secondary phone.
That was
we finally got one of those.
The first thing I got when I got my first steady income was like a phone line for the internet.
It's funny to think about it. I mean, look, for me, it was a big deal to get my own phone in my room, like my own landline back when I was a kid. So
that's another thing. We take for granted things like having a TV in your bedroom, where a lot of families, they had one TV and they all had to share it in the living room.
That I did in my room until college.
Yeah, that I actually did have. I had a TV and a VCR, but I watched a lot of cartoons. So, yeah, Power Rangers were a big deal too back then.
That's another thing is missing your favorite episode, your favorite show. If you missed a day, the only thing that was on reruns was MASH. Like, yeah, you had to wait a
Hogan's
while.
Heroes. Don't forget Hogan's Heroes and Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
Fantasy Island.
Yeah, and then you had like Nick and Knight come along, and
don't forget about
it. Your parents were catching up on shows they hadn't seen when they missed them as kids.
Something that we haven't considered. A lot of shows were stopped in their mid-season in production.
Yep,
we're gonna run out of TV shows if this keeps up.
You might. I'm not gonna. I don't watch current TV.
Yeah. I'll go back to watching Dukes of Hazzard in the heat of the night.
As long as it takes Picard, I'm okay with that.
They call me. Yeah, they. It's interesting to think about. I don't think the Amish are laughing at us because they didn't realize it until no one was buying their fudge that something was going on. It's not like they got
their fireplaces.
Like, why?
It's true.
What's going
on? They might not even know what's going on. Like, what's going on? Why is everybody all depressed?
Why don't they just do barn raising? That's what we do.
No. They were driving their horse and buggy down the road, and they realized, man, there's very little traffic going on.
That's great.
That's how they realized.
Where did all the English go?
Jacob he's happy. He's not getting annoyed with the cars.
Mordecai, where are they?
There's a lot less litter today. Bless those people. Just bless them.
We love our Mennonites.
Are the hardcore ones, but the Mennonites can use tech, right?
No, the Mennonites. I thought the Mennonites were the strict ones. It's the Amish that aren't.
No, Mennonites are a lot more flexible about rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had it back.
I mean, they have their rules are stricter, but they're broader. Like there's time frames and whatnot. Like at nighttime, there's no electricity lights, so there's no electricity. But during the daytime, you have access to certain things. It's a weird because they vary on what they can and can't do. But they follow stricter rules, huh?
The split between the Amish and the Mennonites came because some Amish wanted to use buttons, and some said, no, that's an abomination, that's from the outside. So the ones that wanted to start using buttons said, well, screw you, we're walking away. And over time, they said, these other rules don't make any sense either. Screw that, we're going to do what we want to do. And that's like they can, I don't think they can have electrical utilities coming in, but they can have solar panels. Because that's different. Don't ask me. Ask a Mennonite.
I don't think the Mennonites drive around in buggies. Do they? Do they drive cars?
The Mennonites can drive cars. They have to be salt. They can only be like a solid color, like a black or white. Maybe even a silver, but they can't be like a loud color or anything like that. I've seen Mennonites drive around in Impalas.
They can have TVs.
Because like the Amish, they will get on each other if their buggy is like decorated too garishly.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mennonites could drive a car. Like, okay, that's a difference.
Yeah.
They can have TVs.
It's definitely interesting.
Hey guys, just read a news article that says a crew member aboard the hospital ship Comfort has tested positive for coronavirus.
Shit. You know, they let a bunch of COVID positive people onto the ship by accident.
No,
That
was not an accident.
It was
it was actually meant to take the outflow of patients that were supposed to be non-COVID or non-Kung Flu.
Samaritan's Purse and the HMS Comfort were HMS Comfort were supposed to be used for.
when they joined the Royal Navy.
Yeah. No, that's what it's called. See, it's a nickname. It's a
Well, we've had a kind of reverse effect in New York, where because everybody's locked down, there's been less non-COVID hospital use. No hardly any car accidents. Fewer gunshot wounds, so they didn't have as many non-COVID patients as they thought. So
I
think it was
like 63 people or something like that.
I still think it's funny that Chicago's death rate dropped.
What mayor came out and was like, guys, quit your foolishness until
Houston.
That was Stevens' mayor.
And also, didn't the mayor of Chicago ask criminals as well?
That was the mayor of Baltimore.
Oh yeah, it was
Baltimore. Each other. They're like, we need
and a police chief. Yeah. There was a police chief that made that same request.
Stop shooting each other. We need the beds.
Yep. Because that makes so much sense, right?
Is it weirder that they asked, or is it weirder that it seems to have worked?
Well, yeah, if you're getting stopped for being out on the road, you can't be carrying drugs and a gun.
It's hard to get away with crime now because there's less victims out, and you stick out like a sore thumb now.
Yeah, but I also heard that a bunch of New York businesses got ransacked, and actually there's more property crime.
That's the only crime that has gone up. There's been a 75% increase in commercial burglaries. Believe it or not, it's things like supermarkets and corner stores that are getting broken into. So
bodegas and grocery stores.
I mean, I appreciate that, though. I mean, it sure beats the... we had a blackout in 2004, and they were robbing electronic stores.
Mm-hmm.
See, but I don't think this is necessarily neat. I think this is still economically motivated because there's a burgeoning black market now in bullshit like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Still can't find any around here.
The black market just stepped in. You make a niche in nature, and something's going to fill it. Sooner or later, something's going to fill it.
That's literally the mafia motto.
But there was literally video of a guy selling toilet paper out of the trunk of his car in like Michigan somewhere. And
I thought that was Texas.
Was it? Was there an undercover reporter that was doing the story and the guy was on camera and talking to him? That's what I saw.
Wow. All right, how do you guys feel about the FBI seizure of the N95 masks?
The what?
The FBI seizure of the Asian lady who bought all the N95 masks.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, you didn't hear. There was an Asian lady that went around. Where was it? She was in Nevada, I think, or was it?
Really?
It doesn't matter where it was. Point is, she bought up literally so many fucking masks,
and she bragged about it and was talking about, having all the masks and none for the Americans.
Yeah, that video is very popular. The thing is, there's more than one.
I know.
And it's not just the United States. They've been doing this all over the world.
Well, the FBI seized, I guess what we're calling it, a stockpile, and loaded it into a big old truck to take back. And I'm just, how as Americans do we feel about taking from the individual who bought them with their own money?
I mean, she did buy them legally. She did it for a heinous purpose.
Yeah. Well,
but at the same time, she bought them legally.
Yeah.
I was in a discussion with this about Matt in the DMs, and he was saying that who was it that I think he said John Stossel had a good take on this, so I'll have to look that up about hoarding laws and anti price gouging laws.
Some people say that hoarding is actually a useful thing in a crisis, where an item that ordinarily wouldn't be available at all, even though it's at a highly inflated price, it's an incentive for people to bring more of said item into an area because that price is so high, and that will eventually bring the price down. Is that Stossel's argument that you were talking about?
I don't know. Matt recommended it. I'd have to look it up. So if this is on the recording, I can look at it later.
Knowing that he's going to have like a libertarian take, I'm going to just guess that's what
probably.
Okay, so if you guys are okay with these people buying up 80,000 of these N95 masks, I guess you're okay with cheaper than dirt charging $200 for a box of 556.
Yeah, let him charge it. Guess what? It's going to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm even more okay with not buying it. They can go fuck themselves.
Exactly. They did this shit back in 2012. I have no fucking... I never have bought anything from them since then.
Has it improved any where maybe this ended with Obama? But I'd always heard that there was such a severe ammo shortage that even if you wanted to pay a lot, you couldn't find certain classes of ammo.
I know
22s.
In 2012, it was 22 long rifle, which is the cheapest of the cheap ammo that you can buy. Because they were talking about banning high capacity and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of they were talking about banning anything with over 10 rounds, and a lot of 22s are like right at 10 rounds. So a lot of people started freaking out.
I'm not a gun guy, but I heard people saying that even Russian caliber stuff.
Right now? Right now? Are you talking about right now, or are you talking back in 2012?
Both. I've heard in both time periods.
Yeah,
a little bit.
There's the crazy thing that happened this time around is everybody went after the normal caliber stuff, and 22 sat on the shelves for several weeks before anybody even bought it. So, I mean,
what I found most interesting about the most recent rush, though, and I think Matt's been doing videos on this, is the number of people in traditionally liberal cities that have just run to the gun store.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely fascinating.
It is fascinating.
San Francisco, baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's going to end up happening is once the crisis if it passes, they're going to want to get rid of it. And then they're going to try to sell it or something along those lines, or they're just going to do a gun buyback.
And we'll be getting them for stupid cheap.
Yep.
Because I don't know if talking about going back to the 80s again. To me, back then, guns was a bipartisan issue because I can remember there were pro-gun Democrat politicians.
Especially in the
South.
There still are.
Joe Biden was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just.
Bernie Sanders was a
he was one of them. He's in a constitutional carry state, which is crazy.
Yeah,
he's an idiot.
NRA.
He got a D rating from the NRA, and
look at
that. I think that's what he had. It was a D rating, but I don't really care for the NRA because
fuck the NRA.
But still, you got to admit, a Democrat with a D rating that. They're all F.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing in 2012, right?
The dichotomy happened.
Or 2016.
The big dichotomy, if I'm not mistaken, it happened probably, I'm going to say mid-90s with Clinton.
Yeah, the
weapons ban and everything else. And then that's where you started seeing lines getting drawn. Well, if you're not with us, then you're against us.
Oh, remind me again, what is the 7-day rule thing or the 5-day rule?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
When you get delayed for when you're
in Oklahoma, I think it's like after 4 business days.
Right.
If they haven't responded, you can come pick up your firearm.
Right. There's a clause to that. There's a name to it. It's somebody's name. Somebody help me out here.
I don't know. I can't think of it.
Kate's Law.
There you go.
Because I remember in the 90s, the assault weapons ban, it killed the Democrats. They actually got destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Over it.
Yeah.
Actually, it was one of the big things that made the Republicans take over. Was it when?
No, that was nothing.
It was like they lost elections on just that issue. So they shut up about guns for like a decade after that.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you can go to Yuri Bezimov's video. The problem is the Democrats, they played a long game, and they won in that sense, because what they did is they put a lot of people into positions of teaching and everything else, and basically you've got a lot of generation of millennials and that sort of stuff that have been brainwashed. Basically, that firearms are bad. Anyone that owns one is bad. All that sort of stuff.
And you see, I come from a old school state. It took a long time for that stuff to really come around. I mean, I can remember in 3rd grade we were getting firearm safety lessons in a public school.
I remember Eddie the Eagle.
Time.
Yeah.
Well, no, we never got Eddie the Eagle. That was a local PD sheriff. Yeah. No.
Eddie the Eagle was NRA thing, but yeah.
Yeah, for my school, that's how they did it. Was local sheriff would come in, give you basically a 100 safety course.
Yeah.
And then over and done.
See, that only works educationally, which is basically like to say in theory, because as of 2 weeks ago, theory was out the window and everything became practical, and first-time gun buyers rushed to get them because it was the first practical example of the police were not here for your best interest; they were there for their own.
Yep.
And that's why you've got people in masks in California buying guns, not COVID masks, protecting my brand masks.
That was quite the statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what kind of hardcore hip-hop rapper are you that your brand is to not buy guns? Is it because you're at a gun store purchasing it legally?
Oh, no. You know what the hippie soy boy. It wasn't a fucking rapper. You know better than that.
It was a music
He said he was a music producer. Like, apparently gangster rap is not on you because Snoop Dogg gives out 45s like Pez candies.
But you see, when he goes home to his home in Calabasas, he's got to answer to his neighbors.
Pretty much.
Put the gun in the golf bag and cover it up with a golf club sock.
Yeah.
You know who has more guns per capita by state?
It's Californians, right?
California is one of the bigger states.
And they all per capita. And they all lie about it. And that's the thing. That's one of the reasons I left California is they all fucking lie about it. They've all got guns, but they'll all tell you, I'm anti-gun because I got 7 hidden under my rack and I got 1,000 rounds of ammo and I'm never going to tell anybody the truth. They're all fucking hypocrites. And San Francisco is the worst. It is it's probably closer to 1.5 to 1 ratio. 1.5 guns for every 1 person.
Dude,
well, yeah, domestic violence is a real thing.
I know a guy that works in Facebook, man. He said they all went and bought guns. He's like, it was
a reckoning.
They didn't buy guns. They bought ammo and told you they bought guns so that you wouldn't ask why they were at the gun store.
Oh, you figure there's the interns who haven't gotten wise yet. They had to buy guns.
Okay, maybe that.
And the reasonings that I'm hearing, it's like the gangs in Oakland are gonna come out to the suburbs and the hills and when they run out of food, and I was like, wow, you guys are sounding like a bunch of conservatives now.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't that the case, 2 weeks ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago?
Sound like the South African farmers.
Why is this guy sounding rational? This is worrying me.
It's like all of a sudden, everybody's a prepper now.
Yeah, but I honestly believe, like I've been seeing Coley on Noir and a few other guys that have been putting out, now that you bought your first gun, here's what you should do. And I keep thinking to myself, nobody's going to watch these videos. What these guys are going to do, they're going to buy them, they're going to stuff them in a drawer, and then when all this shit blows over, they're going to want to sell them to get their money back.
Your first gun should be a revolver, honestly. If you're going to buy one gun, buy a revolver.
Is it just because you want a revolver for cheap, Jay?
Revolvers are slightly more finicky, actually, than... they don't put up with abuse, but they do really well with neglect.
Yeah, that's fine.
They do.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them.
So you have to...
both semis and revolvers do well with neglect. They just sit there and collect a little rust.
No, not really. Like a rusty revolver will fire. A rusty Glock will seize. Yeah, I mean,
break it. Yeah, break it open.
Yeah, a Glock will handle abuse better than neglect. An AR-15 will handle abuse better than neglect. But so a revolver will handle neglect better than it will abuse.
Well,
so
that's
if
why
you're going to buy one gun and put it in your sock drawer for just in case, it should be a revolver.
Well, that's why I always tell people, look, the big problem I've had with revolvers, because I've had one that actually broke on me, is once it breaks, it's a 2-pound paperweight. You can't do anything with it until it gets fixed. It's not it's not like a semi-auto that you can just tap and rack and keep going 90% of the time.
Well, I mean,
turn it into a club.
Pretty much.
I was gonna say, hit the guy with it.
Mine was a 1911. That was my first firearm.
Yeah, but all these chumps now carry plastic guns.
Hey, I don't want to hear it there, Sean.
Plastic gun. Fuck you.
Sean, how do you mute you? Just ask.
Yeah. Hey, I got a heavy metal gun. I've got a heavy metal pistol. I've got revolvers, man. I've got revolvers. I've got semi-autos that are false steel.
Oh yeah. Jay will be proud of me because
with your SIG.
Hey, Jay will be proud of me because I got my Beretta 92.
That is a heavy ass gun.
Fuck. I fucking love that gun. I own several, but God, that is such a heavy fucking gun.
I just bought a SIG 220. Trust me.
The hardest part about bitching about a brand new Beretta is you really can't shit on the SIG guys. Because 950 and 1050 are far too close together to be shitting on a full metal gun guy.
Yeah. And despite all that, I still want a CZ75.
They're great guns. I love mine.
Fuck yeah.
You don't have a CZ75.
He has a PS7,
I had a
right?
CZ75. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Had.
I love that thing. It was good. It was just fucking heavy. I was like, I really don't want this thing. It's really heavy. I bought it for under $500, brand new.
Damn.
That was back when it wasn't CZ was not a hipster brand.
My uncle's was $799. But it came with the 22 conversion.
Oh, it came with the cadet kit. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa, that's kind of expensive for a CZ75. Like, not one of the bells and whistles. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch. I like this. But it sucks that I'm going to go from Beretta with their external slide and awesomeness to the reverse with a CZ, where it's internal sliding rail or slide rails. Yeah, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger.
You gonna get a CZ? What are you gonna get?
A new job, because that's what I need to get to buy a new gun. A second job.
Part-time.
Well, first off, we need to turn the Grand Marquis into the Apocalypse Mobile.
Turn it into the Beast.
we're gonna put a supercharger through the hood. We're gonna put steel bumpers on it. We're gonna lift it. We're gonna put mud tires on the damn thing. We're also gonna put a manual transmission.
And don't forget the minigun on top.
No, the structure of the floor pan. Well, actually, it'd probably handle a minigun, but it wouldn't handle like a Ma-Deuce, or it might handle a 30 cal. But
yeah,
Matt
okay.
Best put an M31 up on top of his Prius, and put a Vulcan up on top of his Prius. I'm just saying.
The Vulcan.
That would be a rolling meme.
Yeah, Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah. Oh, what was the designation for that minigun that shot 50 cal? It was a triple barrel rotating machine gun.
PAU.
It's not the 8.
No, but they had it mounted on Humvees, and that thing was fucking awesome. Good God.
Now I'm having images of the fucking Jeep from Halo.
The Warthog.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. Pretty
Is that
much.
what they have mounted up on the back of that thing?
I'd just rather have a Mark 19, and hopefully it doesn't jam and blow up.
Wasn't that the same minigun they appropriated for Predator?
No.
No.
No, that was the old school M134, just not mounted.
Because remember, Jesse
Also in 5.56.
I beg to differ.
That thing looked heavy, and I think that was the smaller model.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, that was a
mounted
5.56
to
variant.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
PAU 19er Bravo.
There you go.
Because
19er Bravo.
you're talking about a vehicle
19er
mounted
Bravo.
weapon. If you're talking about a 50 cal, that thing would be heavy.
Did anybody see Rambo 4?
Yes.
When he's blowing people apart with the 50 cal, then he gets
With
shot
the
with
Ma-Deuce?
50 cal yeah, and he gets shot with what? It's a Fleshman.
Yes.
I'm like, how? Just make it a different gun. Just why did you have to get shot with a 50 cal back when you're blowing fuckers' legs off? You crippled half of Vietnam with that gun.
Is that
You're
the
gonna take
one
a
where
freaking
Laos. It was
when he
Laos.
goes up river and like freaking
Yes.
Burma to save those?
Yeah, it was Burma. That's what it was. It was
Burma. That's
I'm sorry,
what it was.
Myanmar, whatever it's called.
Oh, interesting fact about the Predator movie. That minigun was actually slowed down to about quarter speed so they could record it spinning over.
Interesting fact about Predator. The original Predator was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
In an insect suit.
In an insect,
Really?
yeah. And he parlayed it into a 3-movie deal for Lionheart,
Wait a minute,
Bloodsport,
Street Fighter 2.
The guy in the suit was called Van Damme?
Originally, it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
He was all orange because he couldn't do green screen with a fucking jungle. So
Yeah.
it was a very buggy. He was supposed to be flippy and ninja-y, but he got his 3-movie deal because he sold it because he was co-starring opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger, and when he got that movie deal together and approved, he started fucking around. And it's too heavy, and he kept falling over because he didn't want to injure himself doing stunts because he had secured the 3-movie deal, and that's when they got rid of him and brought in Kevin Hall or Hall or whatever. Yeah, Kevin Hall.
He was
Hall. Peter.
He was the door. He was the helicopter pilot at the end, I think. Or was he the gunner?
Yeah. He was a gunner, door gunner.
Yeah.
No. He was a pilot.
Yeah, he was a pilot.
Just I like how they do that. Like Jeepers Creepers had one of the cops that the cop had one line, and that was the creeper. I appreciate that. Or Kong Skull Island, where they basically had Kong as also a military character who ends up getting eaten by the tree bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when they put them in as secondary characters. Freddy or Jason Goes to Hell. The guy who played Jason Kane Hodder was a security guard. Called Jason a big old pussy. So I like when they do that. But so Jean-Claude got the role and then proceeded to get fired from it to take his 3-movie deal and run with it, which in the end was so good for Predator because when they changed the Predator, they changed everything about the Predator and made him a completely different character.
Yep.
It would not have been as iconic as it was. You should, if you can go and see behind the Google Predator on YouTube, and you'll catch some stuff. That Predator looks so fucking stupid with like 2 claw clamps, and the head was just it was so awful.
It was like 2 big giant bug eyes with a big giant mandible, and yeah.
Oh, just a cheesy alien movie then at that point.
Yeah, it was terrible. But you know who's actually responsible for the new Predator? Harry Winston was on a plane with James Cameron, and James Cameron brought up the vagina face and put it in.
You know what's really scary? Monster with a giant vagina on his face.
There ain't nothing scarier.
You're right. That wouldn't have been iconic, but I would like to see. I would like to see that alien in something else, because that's an interesting look.
Now that you mentioned it, James Cameron
Starship Troopers,
the face hugger aliens too.
Yeah. Supposedly they're in the same universe, yes, according to the lore.
Because a lot of people have that psychosexual image of face hugger aliens.
Yeah.
Well, the brain bug from
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers has the same vagina mold
with the huge giant proboscis that penetrates the skull.
Yep.
Well, they made.
I gotta sign out. I gotta get ready for work.
All right, man.
Okay.
Take it easy.
All right, man.
Take it easy.
Have fun.
They made a film that kind of focused on that kind of fear. Where was it teeth?
Who was that again?
Where they had vaginas with teeth.
Oh, the movie Teeth.
Yeah,
that's a stupid movie.
What the hell was the name?
Who's scared of blowjobs?
It was just called Teeth.
Oh no. Yeah, but it was teeth in a girl's vagina, and I'm like, I'll fuck a bitch, and it's because I'm like that. I'm hardcore, guys. Just anybody buying this? Anyway, so I'm like, I'm not really scared of teeth. Now, if it was called Fangs, that's a little different. Or 16-year-old girl with braces, then I'd be scared.
See, the thing is, you make a novelty movie like that. Like there was Teeth, but there wasn't Teeth 2. Why was there a sequel to Human Centipede? Someone needs to explain that to me.
Apparently,
they don't even know.
It was style over substance. It was the style of Human Centipede, which has got 2 sequels, by the way.
God.
Why do you know that? Okay. Why do you know that?
He's a horror guy. He knows this stuff.
Dude, I don't know so much stupid shit. It was...
Okay, did you know that there were several sequels to Starship Troopers?
Yes,
they just never made
I own them.
Yeah, that kept Gary Busey's kid busy for a couple of years, didn't it?
I enjoy Marauder.
He was only in like 2 of them.
3. He has.
Was he in 3?
Yeah, he's got special. He was higher ranked in the later one. But I'm like, he died. How is he higher rank? Like, how are you alive?
Something else that'll freak you out. Ask people who've seen The Highlander to describe the plot of Highlander 2, because it's like the movie doesn't exist in people's memory.
Oh no, I got Highlander 2, and I hate it. Yeah, so it's basically the end of time. Right?
The movie was retconned out of existence when they came out with the 3rd and 4th sequel.
Well, there never should have been one. Yeah, there never should have been a Highlander 2. Because they went from, here's the story of Connor McLeod and his fight with fucking whatever his name is, Kurgan. And then they instantly, their second movie, it's like they didn't want to do the movies anymore because they went to the final showdown. Connor McLeod survived. He was the last. And let's retcon it into a bunch of fucking aliens from another planet get sent. I'm like, what the hell?
Dude, they were flying around in the second movie. It's crazy.
Yeah. It had no correlation to the first one whatsoever. Connor was literally killed, came back, ostracized, and sent out to his own, where I'm like, no, you should have just came in from your fucking portal. Fuck Michael Ironside.
There were years when I thought I was going crazy because I was describing it. I was like, this movie happened. It was for real. It was like people were like, no, that movie never got made.
It's like Shazam.
Well, I never understood why, after making a couple of Highlander movies, why they had the TV show.
I liked it and shut your face.
No, I liked the show. It was a good show. But you're like, this guy is not going to make it. At some point, this guy has to die.
They have another character. His name is McLeod. He's a different McLeod. Now, you think they would do that because they can't get the original actor, right? But no, the original guy is in the show.
He's in the pilot along with Kurgan.
They're like, wait a minute, you could get the actor. Why not do the show with him?
And then he's in the fourth. Well, he's blind. Christopher Lambert is like 70% blind. Like
so so his portrayal of Raiden was real. Then is what you're telling me.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
I mean, like it's literally like he's just swinging the sword and people are jumping in to block it. He's like the opposite of Stick from Daredevil. Like, what?
Even to this day on cable, you will see Highlander 1, Highlander 3, Highlander 4, whatever, all of them. You will never see Highlander 2.
There was a little bit too much nudity and too many important plot points.
And they will repeat that TV show till the end of time.
Yeah. Plus, they were all filmed in Europe, so they kind of had less nudity restrictions. Like more women were willing to be naked.
There was a lot of TNA.
Can you imagine if they made that show like for HBO, like they did Game of Thrones?
My whole problem is like
and piss off all the people that read the books.
that too. But no, like I'm immortal and I have a perfect sense of history, and I'm always where I need to be for important things.
There is a Forrest Gump quality to the character. Yeah.
Like, you think Sean Connery just went into it? Fuck it, I'm making money. I don't care.
Give me the check.
What kills me is they got a French guy to play.
I believe that was Sean Connery for
and
Avengers.
Then they got the Scot to play a Spaniard.
That's right. He played Ramirez.
Yeah, all right. Okay. And this is our Englishman. Say hello, Paul Hogan from Crocodile Dundee. Yes, and you're going to be our man from New Zealand, Hugh Laurie.
Let's just face it, though.
Seen Zardoz?
Somebody brought up Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, God. We're not going to even talk about the red tights, are we?
The original Mankini?
Yes. Zardoz.
Well, Sean Connery started his career as a... he was like a light Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. He was a bodybuilder.
He was a he was a fitness model.
Yeah.
I remember my mother had the biggest crush on Sean Connery. That's all I remember.
Did she know that he smacks a bitch?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, my mom knew.
my mother knew, and she still found him hot as shit.
Yeah.
That was her celeb crush.
I wonder if she'd have said, "Smack me harder, Daddy."
My mom's was Burt Reynolds.
Please don't bring up my dead mother, Garrick, in that context. Ever.
What? You do it to Jay all the time.
No, I never talk about Jay's parents.
We share in this. It's different.
Yes.
Even if it was, I'd forgive him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about Jay's grandma.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, she has Alzheimer's. She thinks it's hilarious.
Has to explain in the wokest era ever how 50 Shades of Grey became a big thing with women.
I don't understand it myself.
It's literary
it's about
porn.
redemption.
That's how women like it.
Sure.
No, it's about smut that they don't feel guilty about reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's why the books did fantastic and the movie did for shit. And I'll bet you.
They should have felt good.
I will bet you the movie is better than the books.
I'll
I
never
haven't
know,
read
'cause I'll
them,
never
but I
read or
did read.
see either one.
This is how much I hated Twilight. I hated it so much I read the books. Because
I still think it's
could,
interesting how she came up with the concept of it.
I couldn't get over the twinkly vampires, man.
that bothers me in like a sense of poetry. Like vampires are they have so many gifts, they have to have a drawback, and that drawback is sunlight. There was a poetry to it that was robbed by, like, these aren't curses, these are great gifts to be bestowed. There's a reason the fucker from the Mummy got his magic powers. He was tortured to hell, and he came back with magical powers. It was so bad, you don't do this, because if you do, they could come back and kill the fucking everybody's. So you don't do it. But they did it because he killed the pharaoh. But in Twilight, it's a gift. Beautiful. Young forever. 10 times stronger than any mere mortal. And your only curse, liquid fucking dialite and suntan lotion.
But think about this too. This, again, we're in the woke era. And Edward Cullen is one of the most abusive stalker boyfriends ever written.
I originally watched it because I saw Vampire Suck, which mocked it. And the two most awful parts of that movie, I was like, those can't be from the movie. They were.
In the hashtag Me Too era, you have a guy who starts, before he's even in a relationship with this girl, he breaks into a room and watches her sleep. Right?
This was before Me Too, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's okay. It's okay to do that, and this is the fickleness of women. It's okay to do that if you're good looking enough.
Yeah, I can't scale. Well, first off, I can't scale into a bedroom. But if I could,
I think that's the problem, though, Sean. There's too few of us that are that pretty.
Well, he's constantly saying how he'd like to kill her and eat her. Basically, you know.
I had a girlfriend who appreciated when I said I wanted to eat her.
It still holds.
Still holds true.
Yeah, you can't ask for consistency out of women. Even the good ones, there just won't be.
Right. Good ones. That's a good one.
You guys know how she came up with the concept for Twilight, right? Whatever her name was.
Wasn't it fanfic?
She was in a diner?
I think it was fanfic for something.
Dream about it.
Oh, it was a dream?
She seriously had she had a wet dream about it.
High school?
Yeah, it got Huh?
High schoolers?
What are you talking about?
It takes place in high school, man.
Yeah, I know, but
Twilight?
she had a wet dream. Yeah. She had a wet dream about it. That's basically how she came up with the whole concept.
That's weird. Who got bored and turned on a TV?
Oh, like the Soviet Union.
That's what I thought it was. Why are they Roman saluting?
I think that's
Josh.
Spanish. I can't remember. What was the dictator's name?
Pinochet.
Ramirez?
No, it wasn't Pinochet. It wasn't Pinochet. It was Spain.
Franco.
Franco, yeah. I think it was Franco, national anthem.
Hey, what did you learn about France recently, Josh?
Nothing.
Nothing about their inch measurement or the height of certain dictators?
The fact that you were wrong on that? Yes, I did learn
You
about
were
that.
so full of shit. Napoleon was above average height.
Shit. No,
Napoleon
it
was
wasn't.
above average height. The French inch is longer than the American inch.
So therefore, he was shorter.
No, he was taller.
He was taller. He's 5'7". The height average was 5'6". The French inch is longer.
The French inch is longer. So that's why he was shorter. Okay.
Okay, mind blown. 50 Shades of Grey started out as Twilight fan fiction.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
You didn't know
so
that.
That's how that happened.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought everybody knew that was.
Yeah, but how Twilight started out is she had a wet dream about it, and she wrote it down. I think it started out with her just being ravaged by a vampire, is what it ended up happening, and then she decided to write it up and bring werewolves into the whole thing and all that sort of stuff. And just
make a story out of it. Yeah.
Make a story out of it, and lo and behold, you had 40-something wine ants holding up signs for 17-year-old boys, Robert Pattinson and whatever his name was, Jacob, Taylor,
dude, Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner, yeah. But that's perfectly fine. But if an older gentleman does that to a 17-year-old, how dare you? How dare you?
Double standards, friend.
Oh yeah, it's all double standards.
That's different though, because he was 110, which is not creepy at all to be dating Kristen Stewart, a 17-year-old.
Exactly.
Who had one facial expression.
The many moons of an Irish
foot. Don't give me shit.
Kristen Stewart is basically like the old Far Side comic, The Many Faces of an Irish Setter.
Excited? Are you constipated? Oh, you're happy? Okay, good.
It's all the same face.
I don't know how we got on this topic, but fun fact: stop.
Yes.
I was watching an episode of it was Black Rifle Coffee.
You guys realize we've been going on this podcast for almost 3 hours, right?
Fuck yeah, this is great.
I could do it.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
but
I told poor Neo it'd be about an hour.
Oh man, you could abandon this.
Not that bad, are we?
I'll log off and start a live stream right now.
Neil, we're not that bad, are we? Would you come back and do this stream again?
Sure.
Yeah, see,
sweet.
Would have been so much.
Now we got to have Fry live up to expectations again.
It would have been so much funnier if you said no.
You guys suck.
So I can tell you about whatever, a year and a half ago, whenever Matt was interviewing Brett Weinstein, I had a plan for Blonde to come on that Tuesday when I was doing Tuesday show streams, and Sean and I were talking about how Matt's doing a stream on Tuesday with Weinstein, so the chances of Blonde coming on were going to be nil because she'd want to support Matt in his stream. He and I were just going back and forth talking about it, and then Blonde comes on and is like, hey, Matt scheduled a stream for Tuesday. Can I come on like the next week? I want to support Matt. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, whatever. And she's like, no, I don't want it to be like that. I didn't mean to blow you off. I'm like, you're not blowing me off. I get it. You got your buddy and whatever, business partner. So I made her feel really bad about it. So I had to go back and show her comments that I had made to Sean about it. And he just happened to comment about like, what the fuck did she do all day anyway? And I was going to cut it out, but I'm like, no, I'm going to. So I screenshotted it and I sent it to her, and she got so pissed and started chewing out Sean that I was just stirring the pot for funsies. But yeah, Sean ended up getting a couple of DMs right himself.
Now, I'd be playing Mountain Blade.
Yeah, no, she came in hot.
Yeah, she was a wee bit pissed.
She got out of Seattle just in time.
She did.
She sure did.
Yeah.
People forget that, with all the attention on New York, that's where this shit started. In the United States, anyway.
We had a case out here in Tempe really early on because we had a Chinese national come back to ASU after the winter break. With it.
Well, like I said, they're talking about there's a theory right now that it actually occurred a lot earlier in California, but it was like years earlier. A COVID strand that is close enough resembling the new the new whatchamacallit to have the antibodies to block it out, and that's why California has a much smaller number than anywhere else.
Oh, somebody named Nephilim Ninja is trying to get your attention, I think.
Yeah.
Actually logged out of the chat, so let me hop back in there and see what's up.
He wants to know how long a French inch is.
Oh, it's like 1.2.
It's a wee bit longer.
Yeah, it's a couple of millimeters longer than American inch.
Don't they have like the reference metal bar that represents the meter in the world or something?
Yeah, they've got I think it's made out of platinum. They made all of their
yeah.
Why is this making noise?
And like all the world's measurement, I guess the government agencies responsible for measurements have to calibrate off that bar.
Yeah, and then they have to have like there's one master that they have to like keep hermetically sealed somewhere so that it doesn't decay and like change its mass. Apparently,
it does change over time, over a long enough timeline. It's like by a few microns.
Well, I would imagine its own weight would compress it, at least downward.
So it's like France has. It makes sense since I think they invented the metric system. I don't want to say Napoleon invented it, but it was certainly during his reign.
Yeah, I think it was shortly after the revolution, and they tried to go metric with everything, including like calendar measurements, and that didn't work. So, yeah.
I think we might be the last country that still uses English measurement.
Us and Liberia.
Our colony.
I think we're the only two left that use imperial measurements.
We're the worst colonizers.
Although the UK still measures their roads by miles.
Really?
Like if you tell an English person you just colloquially will say, yeah, it's a couple miles down the road. They intuitively understand what a couple of miles is, even though officially they're all on the metric systems for kilometers and stuff.
Well, okay. I just heard
they don't understand how we use time.
I heard Sargon today when he was talking about how he had lost weight recently because he's walking around with his kids. He said his weight in stone, which is that's not just English. That's like archaic weight.
Yeah.
That's what they use there, though.
That's what they use. They use kilograms and stone.
It was like stone. What is this? Like the 1700s?
Yeah, and then 1 stone is like 14 pounds.
It makes it's not intuitive at all. That's why I find it archaic.
At all. Like even in kilograms is even weirder. It's 14 pounds to a stone, but then it's like 6.35 kilograms to a stone.
Yeah.
So it like makes triple no sense.
I guess the only equivalent would be like if you're into horses, how they say a horse's height instead of just telling you the horse is yay inches high.
Yeah, 16 hands.
Yeah.
16 hands at the mizzen mass. What? I don't think those are.
Well, a hand is 4 inches wide, so.
The Brits also unironically use fortnight, so.
Score.
Yeah.
Score. So did that. Score is another one. Lincoln uses both those.
Like for us, saying a dozen is common, so but nobody says score.
I like to use bushel whenever I can.
I don't know what you're talking about. I always get a baker's dozen.
All right, what is a baker's dozen?
13 to 14, 2 extra.
Why is a baker's dozen?
Because they like sweets.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. The Crown put a dozen has to have a pound of flour or whatever. So to make sure that your dozen loaves or whatever contained the said amount, they added one extra so they couldn't get in trouble for it. It wasn't one for the baker. It was in addition to. So it was a better safe than sorry.
Always the government.
Yeah. So that is why it's a baker's dozen. Not you make like it's not like when you make bacon for a BLT, you add 2 extra slices just so you can eat it while you're making your sandwich. It's actually, they're given 13 as a baker's dozen. Just to CYA.
Speaking of the government interfering in business, it's weird how before there was taxes and all that, they used to go after duties on alcohol. But I think I saw somewhere where George Washington was actually the biggest producer of alcohol in the United States. His plantation.
Yeah, they still
Have you
sell
seen
it
his
dry
election?
whiskey.
Did you see his the tally for George Washington's election or the vote for the pub after you went in and you voted? He had a tally of what he spent at the bar for the voters, and it was insane.
Oh man.
Yeah, but in England, all their prices have tax included.
So it's like New Hampshire.
Oh yeah, most of the. Oh yeah, Australia does that too.
Yeah, so they're kind of like they think it's like bullshit when they go to the dollar store and they buy 4 items and it's $4.20. Like what the? Wait, it's a dollar store, $4. No, taxes included.
Yeah, well, and the only reason that our taxes aren't included in prices is because they vary state to state or sometimes city to city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get that VAT that they have in the UK. It comes in at multiple levels too. So like even the raw materials that went into that product have the VAT in them.
Mm-hmm.
So like the same thing is getting taxed 50 times over by the time it gets to you.
Same thing with the estimated price of a car.
That's true. They charge tax on the components.
Mm-hmm.
It's also why they don't tip.
Yeah. What did I have about? Oh, I am so fucking sick of seeing these hand signal people, sign language people on broadcasts and whatnot.
I always found that
for a minute there, I thought you were going to go with something else, but
these fucking hand jobbers just dry jerking people. No, unless it's for the crowd that's present, like if you're at a rally, it's understandable. If you're delivering a address to the people in a crowded room of reporters, it's stupid. I can't stand it.
I almost think that now it's almost like those. I don't know if especially they do this a lot of college like events where they acknowledge that we are on stolen Indian land and this and that, and my pronouns are he, him. It's almost to that point. It's just. It's universally done. But like, okay, so you'll see city mayors doing it, but you won't see President Trump doing that with a sign language guy next to him.
God, could you imagine being a lip reader trying to pick up what Trump is saying?
Or for that matter, I shouldn't even say Trump, any president. Obama didn't have a sign language guy gesturing next to him.
Well, I don't know if
he did. I think he actually did. They just never put him on camera.
Yeah, I think that might be the difference. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump had an interpreter throwing out the gang signs or whatnot. Or the eye roll so much.
It's mandated by law that they have to be able to have a translator there for American Sign Language for public addresses.
But the thing is there even a need for that, right? I mean, you can't just have a guy type out for closed captioning.
Do you even need a typer at this point? You just let the algorithm handle it for you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like watching certain videos, it comes out perfectly clearly most of the time.
Well, the thing is those videos that is done kind of while the video is processing. I don't know if that's possible in real time what YouTube does.
Well, and then also might need to have a human component so that nobody can come back and say, no, that's not what he said, to something that's, computer generated or typed out in.
Because I'm pretty sure court reporters could, when they're typing in shorthand, they're typing in real time practically.
Stenographers it is a shorthand, so it's not a full word or anything like that. But they also have access to recordings because everything is recorded.
Yeah, now.
Yeah. My mom did stenography for a little bit.
Because when the jury, for example, asks for a readback or the judge requests one, they generally can provide it immediately.
Yeah, because they can read their own shorthand.
Yeah. Instantly, but give them a day and they know what their shorthand says, but they also have to fill in the he said it or she said it or who said it or the responses. The shorthand is incredibly short. There's only like 14 keys.
It is a smaller key set.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess it's like a local thing. I don't really see national politicians with the sign language.
And it might just be the virtue signaling of the area includes the signer in it.
Because if you watch anything in Canada, it's always, we want to acknowledge the first peoples whose stolen land we are occupying. I'm like, really?
I saw that on a Facebook post about, wow, so much craziness is going on right now. It's almost as if America is built on the sacred burial grounds of an ancient peoples. I go, yeah, what about the other 200 years of progress we had? Fuck you.
I'm like, if you want to go that route, I mean, just about every square inch of land on the planet, you could say that. I want to acknowledge the Hittite Empire that the Turkish people are standing on right now.
Yeah.
Or if you're a Greek, even you're like, oh, I want to acknowledge the Mycenaeans.
We're drinking tonight for. Yeah, it's just it's insane. The
English would be like, I want to acknowledge the Celtic and the Picts.
It's 11:10 for me, gents.
Yeah, let's wrap.
I gotta go. I gotta go to bed because I get up at 4:00 in the morning. So yeah.
Yep.
So, Neo, it was fun to have you on, man. Hopefully you can make it again sometime soon. Jay?
What? I didn't do it.
I'm just shook my head at you. Sean, I'll talk at you later.
All right, man.
And Garrick? Well, you're just Garrick.
Garrick is probably fallen asleep at this point. He's
probably. Mm-hmm. He's been pretty quiet. I've just been listening to the conversation. That's all I've been doing. I'm tired, so when I get tired, I just don't talk.
All right, man. We'll
take care.
Have a good night.
You too.
We will wrap up. It's been a hell of a long night for us.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, and some of it's even been recorded, so that's nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
The important takeaway is: have you taught Neo how to wrench people?
I don't know, but he's got one on this channel. So,
that's nice. Yeah, feel free reciprocity in certain states. That's cool, bro.
What is all this thing with wrenching?
You don't pay attention to chat, but I'm always harassing you for a wrench. It's like I'll go to deliberative on YouTube or on Twitter and be like, he's live because he doesn't get the updates like normal people for some reason.
They come in late for me. I don't know why.
Dude, yeah. I will get notified for a Beauty and the Beta stream. Like, I'll be watching it, and 45 minutes in, I'll get the notification.
Yeah, that's about how mine are with your streams.
Yeah, so I have to
45
update
minutes, and then I'll notice that it's live.
Yeah, for the premiere stuff and whatnot. But while you're premiering and you're posting out your things, I'm like, hey, how about a wrench? Those are nice. Wrench for.
Like the other day, what was it, Saturday night when you did one? I was like, hey, yeah, let me get in on that. Of course, I didn't see it till Sunday.
Because I don't even moderate my own chat. I was like, all kinds of shit gets said in there, and I just let it go.
Yeah, could have it moderated. I'm here, buddy. No caps lock for anybody. No, I'm just kidding. I picked that fight years ago. I still get comments when I leave a comment.
2015, 2014?
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been 2016. But because there was no super chat back then, so the notice me senpais in cap letters, I'm like, knock it the fuck off. But then you could start actually talking through super chat to them.
It gets annoying if everybody's doing the cap shit, but if somebody puts caps in mine, I don't care. As long as you don't spam the fucking the chat with it.
Mm-hmm. It was fun for me anyway. Arbitrarily making up rules and enforcing them.
Well, you were the only moderator there for a while.
Yeah. Then they added fucking dickheads that I don't like.
Sorry.
Well, the other day, Matt seemed pretty angry at what's his face, Kevin
Flanagan.
Yeah.
That's weird because I'm way worse than Kevin Flanagan, and he's never had an issue with me.
Oh no, he was. I guess one snow ape too many, and Matt snapped.
On a Wednesday stream, I'm taking it.
I have only seen Matt pissed off, like legitimately pissed off twice, and
unstoppable.
Okay, it was because he was also saying that Matt was saying, "I don't want to live in your prison, Kevin." And I messaged him after the show, like, "Were you legit angry at Kevin Flanagan?" And he's like, "I'm done with him." Blah blah. So I was like, "Wow, I never saw him angry before."
Yeah, the only two times I saw him angry was when that one guy. It was a Wednesday show, so you probably didn't see it, but it was
unstoppable.
One guy, tried to tell him what to do with his channel. That gets Matt like really, really hot, pretty damn quick, like instantaneously. And then the other time, and I felt so bad for him at this time. Somebody went after his brother.
Oh.
And I had to start banning people left and right. I was playing no goddamn games. Because you don't even mention his brother. And certainly don't go after him.
That's some bullshit.
So I was like, pretty laid back guy. I suspected there was something behind it. So from what I gathered, he had been building.
For Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've probably given like $100 that Blind just won't read. Usually they're insulting her to some degree.
You should just switch over to Streamlabs. Make Matt read them.
The insult towards Blind. That's a good one. I'll do that.
It makes me speculate as that Kevin must be like independently wealthy because he throws a lot of money into super chats that don't get read, and he just keeps coming back.
Well, there's a couple I thought were pretty good, and she still won't read them. Like, Blonde, come on now. That's me. She when we first started streaming, she came into the first couple of streams just to point out I had a little dick. I'm like, thanks, Blonde. I appreciate that, sweetheart.
Pregnancy seems to have mellowed her out and gave her compassion. Saying about Joe Biden.
So I wanted to like yell at her about it, but there's nothing I could do because if I snapped at her, she'd say that my tolerance for shenanigans is as short as my dick. So stewing on it, I came up with something like the next week, and she showed up again and said I had a small dick. Like, Blonde, you're always complaining about the size. You never complain about the taste. She threatened me so thoroughly on YouTube or on Twitter afterwards, like just testicular heavy threats that made me scared. It's the only death threats I've ever gotten to this day.
Yeah, which is surprising. They banned her for that. They banned her for calling someone a faggot.
No, she called me a faggot.
Great.
Wonderful girl, little hateful.
Who would have thunk?
I said something about her I appreciated her makeup, and I couldn't wait to see her in it in Halloween for the zombie, for her zombie or something like that, because it looked dead. She's like, I hope you choke on a pizza, you fat fuck. I'm like, holy girl.
I understand. I've just said a word on your stream that YouTube wouldn't care about, but if I said a certain name, the stream would get taken down.
No.
Oh, you mean Eric?
Yeah, they don't pay attention to my streams. We've said it a bunch, and they never come down.
Because I've had 2 videos that memory hold, they don't exist just because they had that name in it.
But are you monetized?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I'm not monetized, so they don't care.
Dude, it wouldn't matter. Like, I don't think it would matter. They've gone after this name so ruthlessly. I don't think... Sargon right now is not monetized. He can't say it. They demonetized Sargon, so if he wanted to, if that was true, I guarantee if he said the name, they would pull the video down. It's
Still,
the only name I'm aware
it's
of
not even in the
can't
news
say.
anymore.
It's just it's bizarre. It bothers me. It's so bizarre. It's like to this day, if I DM Matt about it, he'll send like 10 DMs back about how weird it is, and you'll notice behind him whenever he streams or makes a video, he still has the picture up.
Right. Yeah.
So apparently they have facial recognition, but I think on the screen it's too small for it to notice.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a little far back, a little small, and a little blurry for it to pick up. So, but yeah, that's the big bugaboo as far as I can tell. As long as you're not monetized, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Because it's weird. I could talk about as long as it's not like I can't show people, war images. Obviously, I got a stream pulled down because I showed that the guy that ran for governor in Florida, Gillum, when he got found naked on the floor, they pulled that stream down.
Really?
Yeah, but just about everything else goes. But if you say just the name, it's the only time I've seen YouTube ruthlessly go after a video of mine like that.
I know. Excuse me. I know for a while they were demonetizing anybody that mentioned COVID.
You
for
can't even
COVID.
Oh my god, dude! 20 videos on COVID, and I think finally one wasn't demonetized because they changed the policy.
Do you think your live stream today will get the axe too?
No, they changed it. Believe it or not, I think it was because of Tim Pool, because he was getting destroyed on ad revenue. Because naturally, he talks about news. What's all been in the news been for the last 2 months? Coronavirus. Yeah. So he would talk about it. He apparently he knows somebody at YouTube, and he's probably been in their ear about it. And I think he made them like, look, we're talking about the news, and all the news is these days is coronavirus, and you're destroying channels. They're getting no ad revenue. And it's true. I don't think I made a penny of ad revenue for like a month and a half.
Well, you jumped on it pretty early too.
Yeah, and I kept making the videos. I didn't care. I mean, okay, so they demonetize it. I'm not going to stop talking about it just because YouTube doesn't want to hear it. But
yeah, but honestly, how much ad revenue are you making in a time? Like
not a lot.
Maybe $10.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot for me because like right now, a typical video, ad revenue wise, maybe a buck or two. Yeah. But back in the day, 2016 YouTube, I've had videos where you could make $400 or $500. That was when I could get 1 million views on a video. Now they don't want to, everything is suppressed. But
because they don't want to pay. That's always been the thing. I think we did a stream about that shit where advertisers have more say than creators, which is a problem.
Dude, I don't even think it's the I think it's a crutch blaming advertisers. It's YouTube. You can't tell because advertisers wouldn't want to advertise in a COVID video.
Yeah, the late night guys, they bring their own advertisers in, so they can talk about whatever. And meanwhile, anyone of us who tries to talk about that same exact topic, it's not ad friendly.
Well, look, use Tim Pool as an example. He's shilling Survivor, Prepper food now, right? what prepper food company wouldn't want to advertise in a COVID video? Because that's your audience. They're watching those videos. You know. So I think that YouTube saying not suitable for all advertisers. Well, I could think of a lot of advertisers that would want to, advertise in the back or the front of a COVID video.
Yeah. N95 masks for one.
Well, I think it's a bigger deal about the algorithm and the changes to that to not promote individual creators anymore. It's only the big names now that they're getting promoted and getting.
Yeah. It's so obvious because they know I'm making COVID videos because just about every ad I see now is for N95 masks and shit.
Yeah, the only place I could
find
find
CDC COVID shit.
Yeah.
Like their guidelines or whatever it was.
Yeah. The only place I could find the Young Turks versus Ben Shapiro video, I had to go to the Young Turks. The only place I could find it. Ben Shapiro isn't trending or anything like that. I couldn't find it. So for a solid 3, 4, 6 months, I was constantly getting Young Turk recommendations, and I've never been deluged like that. Well, because they have the right thing.
Whoever was mentioning about suppressing individual creators, I can't search for myself on YouTube. If I put in Neo Unrealist, I don't exist.
That's weird.
No, you have to. There's a setting you have to change because I did that and I wound up finding you, but you have to do a search filter or some shit.
The thing is, I thought maybe it's just some freak because okay, if you search for Neo Unrealist, they'll put up Neo Realism. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm unlucky. I picked a name that matches some other category. Well, Tim Pool said the same thing today. He said you can't search for him.
How can you not search for Tim Pool?
I tried and I got his channel, Timcast. But he's saying that there's a video, like a skate video he made 12 years ago, where people who are searching for his videos are getting directed to someone else's video that they recorded of him on a skateboard. And like his channel is suppressed down below other people's videos about himself, which
that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, Crowder said the same thing.
Old video. Yeah.
Because it has been getting all of a sudden people have been getting recommended that video, and I think it's because now that when they search for him, that video pops up high in the rankings. I noticed it. When I did a bunch of videos about 2 years ago, the Evergreen College situation.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of those got millions of views, and when I went to search them, I would put in the exact title, and I was like, "How did this video get 600,000 views? This one gets 900,000 views." I said, "Why can't I find it now?" Now you can't find it because I had to delete it for whatever reason. YouTube made me delete it, but I was like, this video is like extremely popular. How would it not even come up? Because that was one of the first people that was doing video on Evergreen.
Yeah, man.
Have you reported on that trick that some people were talking about to get your monetization? Which I kind of think is a brilliant idea. What you do is you come up with a opening theme song or something to every video, and every time you play that video, you copyright strike it with another YouTube account, and then that account gets the money.
Believe it or not, that probably would work. Because YouTube does that it's automatic. If you don't challenge the copyright strike, they just assume that that's the way it is, and they just give the money over. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that worked.
When I search my popular videos, and I'm talking like the high numbers, like the 17 views, the 19 views, they're hard to find too. So I feel you, bro.
You'll never guess the most viewed video I ever made was, you wouldn't believe it. It was this about a fire in England, and for some reason this thing got 2 million.
It's okay to be white flyer?
No, a fire. It was a fire in like a housing project, the Grenfell Tower fire.
Oh, the
that's
tower
where the projects.
fire.
Yeah, where the projects went up.
Yeah.
And
Council house.
all it was about 40 minutes of someone else's video and just me commenting on it a little bit. And this thing got viewed more than I made like $700 just off that one video. This is pre-adpocalypse. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me. I'm not big in the UK. This is a fire in the UK. I'd say half my viewers at least are in the US. And for some reason, this thing was getting watched over and over for months. Never figured it. It's weird.
I got the same weirdness, totally off scale, but I have about 500 views on a video called Jay Fry's Poorly Reviewed Books. And it was the day of the Weinstein interview. Blonde was supposed to be on, but for some reason my Hangouts was just absolutely fucking up, just something awful. And it was me and Liberative over there. Thank you, muting yourself, much like the stream. And I kept getting kicked, but Sean's son kept coming in and yelling at his dad for whatever reason. So he was muted, and I would keep coming back to the stream of me trying to review a couple of my favorite book series. And I come back and he's muted, and it's just my live chat going, very sparsely going.
It's a whole lot of dead air that day.
It did. It's just a lot of dead air in a closet, and me just bitching about getting kicked off. And this train wreck was like shared around by people while I tried to talk about some of my favorite book series. As an absolute clusterfuck, and I'm like, why is this so popular? Just me constantly.
You've mentioned Brett Weinstein a lot. Did you follow his story?
Yeah, I kind of follow the guy. I don't care for him, but yeah.
Okay, check this out. Basically, Brett Weinstein is what blew my channel up to what you would say is what it is today. How doing video. That's what attracted me to the Evergreen story was Brett Weinstein in the hallway arguing with those kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it funny that today I'm now watching Brett Weinstein. I guess he started his own podcast. And I'm like, this guy, I don't understand what it is. 2 years ago, I thought I'd never see this guy again. And here he is talking about coronavirus because he's an evolutionary biologist.
Yeah, with Joe Rogan.
No, that was Eric. That was his older brother.
Oh, I know it was a Weinstein.
No, him and Brett and his wife started a podcast. I actually listened to a couple of episodes. It's somewhat interesting, but it doesn't hold me for more than 30 minutes. Like after that,
I think Eric is much more interesting than Brett is.
The thing with Brett and Heather is that they're not trying to entertain you. They're basically using that almost like they're teaching a class. Which, who likes being Whereas Eric is more entertaining to watch, where he'll hold your attention longer.
Yeah, they're both too smart by half, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily an insult. It's just one of those things that makes them hard to relate to.
It's weird because I don't watch a lot of left-wing people. He happens to be one of the few ones that I even semi-regularly watch.
Yeah, they're both very influential, very smart guys that have a lot of interesting theories and do a lot of good work, but they don't get their due, which is why I'm liking Eric more and more, is because he's calling out the gatekeepers and the do-nothings that are not advancing theories anymore. Not doing any real work.
Isn't that really sort of his mission in life now, is like try to stop the censorship and all that?
Yeah, except that he's not a big fan of those other couple of professors that were on Joe Rogan's podcast that put up the fake studies and had them published. I can't remember those.
Oh yeah, they wrote the bullshit studies and got them published.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like not in their camp that much. I mean, he's kind of like one of those. I don't know. He's not a big proponent of those people. He's more a proponent of just pushing his own weirdness.
I mean, they're not without their problems, but it's like for a lefty, I mean, that's about the best you can hope for. Someone willing to talk and listen to your side, but there's not a lot of. I guess if you consider Tim Pool lefty, I watch him. Sargon. Sometimes. Who's the other one? Everybody says Jimmy Dore, but I never got into him. It's just not a lot.
No,
not a lot.
He made too much of an ass of himself on the Young Turks, so his reputation is shot with me. I mean, I'm not even going to give him the time of day.
That's the guy I'm missing. I can't stomach Dave Rubin. He's all right.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
guys.
He's not even on the left anymore. I mean, it's like
Rubin
and Tim Pool who could have sworn and went down swinging that no, I'm on the left.
Tim Pool is gonna vote for Trump. Mark my words.
I have never seen a bigger red pill swallowed than Tim Pool.
He still says he wouldn't vote for Trump, but like with the alternatives, I don't see how he wouldn't.
I can see him not voting.
Yeah, he doesn't vote. His brother.
The thing is, the alternative is so scary. Almost, I could see him saying, "Wow, not voting, if there would be contribute in any way to putting a senile guy in power. Not even like a pro-Trump vote, more like a hold your nose and I can't let this guy win vote."
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it'd be Hillary 2.0.
Well, I'm just terrified that she's going to be named his running mate.
Because people are.
When is that coming out?
No.
My guess is it would have to be shortly before the convention, which they have now postponed.
Well, I think people are dumb if they.
But they got to call him out by what?
They would. I think this point they know Biden is shot. They just figure they'll put him up as a figurehead, and it will be his staff really running stuff.
Well, it's going to be whoever's the Veep,
which is worse to me. Is worse than say Obama, where you're going to have these power mad technocrats running everything.
Yeah, well, that's only if they get elected, which they're going to do everything they can by hook and crook, mostly crook, to start stuffing ballot boxes and make, the voting. They're either going to make it so that they win by such a landslide that they can't say that it's rigged, or they'll make so much chaos about it being rigged, kind of like they tried to do in retcon with Russia.
Because what they're going to do what they did in California, they're going to say, well, because of the coronavirus, we have to have mail-in voting for like a 30-day period after the election date, and we're going to harvest ballots in every state instead of just California.
Right.
That's how the Republicans lost in California, those seats.
Yeah.
It was, how many votes do we need? Oh, we just magically found the votes.
Mail-in voting should be outlawed, period. It is the biggest
with the
scam there is.
exception of the military.
Fair enough. But how do you know your vote counts? You have
and then,
feedback.
Look, speaking as someone who did contract work for years and was away from home a lot of those years, that was the only way I could vote. There was no way I was going to drop the job for 2 days to fly home, vote, and then fly back. Well,
a lot of other countries they don't work that day.
Didn't absentee balloting start off where you had to show a need like that, where okay, I'm not physically in the state. Now it's basically it's essentially de facto mail-in voting. You don't have to, you just say give me a ballot.
Yeah, and they don't verify that you're eligible to vote. They don't register, what precinct you're in, what county you're in, any of that stuff.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, in New York, you don't have to show any ID. I could walk in I just say my name, and they just say go there. I could say I'm anybody.
Who do you say you were?
Yeah. Well, that's.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's just you go in there, like, and it's so dumb. They'll hand you the book, right, to sign your name, but they're just handing you a book with a bunch of names in it, so you just have to sign the name that you see there. You could just say,
well, I mean, you have to say, like, Fry, and then they turn it to the F's, or do you just look down at the book and go, yeah, that's me? There should be enough people. It's got to be a pretty big phone book.
It's so funny because there's really, you go to one line if you're like from A to L, and you go to another line if you're from like M to Z, and the volunteers are usually some old person, and they'll open the book, and you're just, if you wanted to do vote fraud, just pick the first name you see that's blank and sign it in.
Yeah, see, out here they at least make you show some form of ID. They don't really vet that form of ID, but at least it has to match the name in the book that they have you sign.
Is there an address along with the name, or is there just like 6 pages of John Smith's?
No, there's addresses.
Because we have to bring ours to the voting poll. Like, ours gets mailed to us.
So the point I always make with that is it doesn't matter much in New York because like the elections here are a foregone conclusion. But if this was a competitive state, there's no way this would work.
Like Virginia.
Exactly.
Virginia won literally by 10,000 votes, even though it was 70,000. 60,000, what we're going to call Democrats, were released from prison with the auto signer. And it barely won out by 70,000 votes for Hillary instead of Trump, which is less than 10,000. That's a margin of error in a state like Virginia.
Gee, what do you think the distribution of votes was for prison ex-cons?
Not a lot of Republicans on marijuana charges, I don't believe.
Well, that was then. They might be now.
Because they all do coke, like classy, normal fucking people. But hard workers. But yeah, it's Stacey Abrams was one of those people who was saying keep the polls open just a little bit longer. There's a box showing up that should win me the lieutenant governorship or the governorship.
She actually won, She told me
the presidency.
They have people on video stating that they came in from out of state to vote in that election.
Yeah, same thing with Roy Moore. Like, we're here from Baltimore to vote for.
Did Roy Moore lose in a squeaker, or did he get blown out in that election?
It was a squeaker.
It was a squeaker.
Mm-hmm. It's absurd because early voting is Democrat voting. Late voting is getting off work and going and voting Republican. But I'm in trouble.
See, there's a guy. He's answering a tweet of mine on the early voting stuff. I said there shouldn't be early voting. How is early voting bad? Well, ask the people that voted for candidates in this primary that are dropped out already. So in the early states, you could vote for them, but like if you're in a state that hasn't gone yet, you don't get to vote for them. I think it's a retarded system. Unless you voted early, but now you voted for a candidate who's dropped out. You've wasted your vote. I'm like, it makes no sense to vote for a candidate months before the election.
Mm-hmm. Or another thing that bothers me, like now, AOC was talking about it, but in Michigan for the vote between Trump and that other, or not Trump, Biden and Sanders, the polls closed. I'm like, that's not something that should happen. If there's people in line, polling should be open until the end of that. That is, our founding fathers didn't say vote until set timelines. They set a date and said to vote. Fucking allow them. Don't kick people away. It's voting is one of our most important rights.
Isn't it supposed to be if the polls close at 8 or 7? If you're online, even if it goes over, you're supposed to be let to vote. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, it should be anyway.
I think it is. I think that what they'll do is they'll send a poll worker out
after the cutoff time, but if you're on a line, they should let you vote.
Yeah, I think a poll worker will come out at the close of the poll, stand at a certain point in the line, and say, "This is the last guy. Go away." We've been going for 3 full hours. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop.
Well, this is Neo's fault.
Why you gotta be so damn...
I'm not going anywhere tomorrow. I'm in a bunker.
I'm usually on
so
this
damn
late.
interesting. Anyway, I'm pushing the button. Say goodnight, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night, everybody.